You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill. What's good? You are tuned in to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad in effect with me. Sis is back. Porsche, what's good?
Not much, Kill. How are you? It's so good to be back.
No doubt. No more jokes about me owing Porsche money, because people really think I really owe Porsche money. Yes. I didn't owe Porsche money. She wasn't on strike, just jokes. But I realized I can't joke because people were like dead ass, like, damn, Kill, you kind of shiesty like that. And I'm like, God damn, nah, I'm just playing. But it is what it is. JR, what's going on? R&B Guru, what's up, man?
What's going on? Good to be here.
All right, before we go forward, you gotta give me a elevator speech about Duke, the thing that you. It was dope. Give me an elevator. Give me a minute elevator speech.
It was dope. Me and Elise had our DJ, and he did like a set for us, and then me and her talked about the evolution of R&B from 1960 to 1992, and we kind of conversated with the audience. We even did a Catch That Minis right quick, which was fun, and we got to interact with the audience and all that good stuff. So the director really enjoyed it, so we in the talks of talking to him to do it some more. So it was really dope, you know what I mean? So yeah, but we getting the video in like maybe a week or so, and then we're gonna put it on like YouTube so everybody can see it.
No doubt. Proud of you, bro. JP, what's going on? Queens representative, what's going on?
What's good, brother, man? Appreciate you having me again, as always.
Nah, man. Anytime we talking anything producer, you know what I mean? I got to get you in. Like, you got to, man. And we're going to talk about something else, too. I'm glad I just said that because it reminded me of that. But all that to just say, today we're doing one of our salute shows to Timbaland. If you've ever rocked with one of our producer shows, we talk about when we first heard them. Top 5 favorite joints, slept on joints, do they make your top 10 GOAT list? Today we're going to be talking about, do you look at Timbaland as a hip hop or R&B producer, or both? Or I guess what comes to mind first, because I'm kind of intrigued to see what people say. And then we're just going to be looking at his legacy and everything like that. So Porsche, why don't you say us off? When is the first time you heard a Timbaland joint? And then I guess when is the first time like you knew like this dude like had some shit like that he was gonna be dope?
So the first time I heard Timbaland in any capacity was probably when he was producing for Jodeci. So that would have been like 90. I didn't get it when it dropped, so it probably would have been like 94. And it would have been like Diary of a Mad Band, that album. But I got it a little late again. And then when did I know Timbaland was going to be a problem? You know what? I didn't know until he just kept getting, it was always like, oh, this is a Timbaland beat. Oh, this is a Timbaland beat. Oh, this sounds like a Timbaland beat. And then it was like, he's everywhere all the time. And then like it's just one of those things where you can't really deny how that he's a problem, because he's really got his hands in everything. So yeah, that's what it was for me.
So let me ask you a question. How did you know? Because when I'm looking at Diary of a Mad Band in 93, I'm seeing Devontae's name everywhere. So it's not JR?
No. I
know. Every time we talk about R&B, we're like, JR?
Mom's like, give you a look. I'm like, damn,
and that's what JR's facial expression. Talking about how I was introduced to him. Go ahead.
My bad. Okay.
No. I'm talking about how I was introduced.
So, Kill, for me... Okay, sorry. For me, you're right. It was a lot of Devontae, because I think for the first probably like few years of Timbaland's career, it was always like with Devontae somewhere attached to it, or he was attached to Devontae's name or something like that. I think for me, it was, again, as you guys know, I've said it a million times, I had people that were giving me, like, I had like a plug for music. So it was these people that would travel to the States, and they were much older, that would be like, oh, and yeah, somebody told me, or they would mention that it was actually like, oh, Timbaland's on this, or it's Timbaland or whatever. So that's where I kind of heard it. I'm not like, I don't have like this, you know, like this elite ear that like I can like pick out what
that makes sense. But that makes sense because you said you got to it late. Because I didn't hear anything about Timbaland being with Devontae until after, at least for me, the whole Timbaland situation. You know, for years I just thought Devontae kind of did everything. You know what I mean?
I very in the early part of the 90s, it was very like I wasn't getting things as they dropped. I wish I was, but I wasn't. I was a little bit late to them. So yeah. Right, by that time, yeah, I was just told.
All right, JR, what about you? When did you first hear Timbaland?
Well, y'all know I read liner notes like crazy. So when I first heard Timbaland, it was on Diary of a Madman, and when they did In the Meantime, and that was an up-tempo that I actually liked from Jodeci. So when I was like, wait a minute, this sounds a little different than Devontae. The production sounded a little different. So when I looked at the liner notes, it said Timothy Mosley, and I'm like, who the heck is this? You know what I mean? But it was just like, okay, whatever. And then it was like after, then again, when I heard Pony, I said, okay, this sounds what I heard In the Meantime. And I was like, oh, this is dope. But again, I still didn't think nothing. I didn't think, I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's whatever. But then when he did If Your Girl Only Knew, I said, okay, this dude is nothing to play with. Like once he got with Aaliyah and did If Your Girl Only Knew, I was like, okay, this dude is nothing to play with. And it sounded kind of like the same sound of those other ones. And I was like, it's a wrap. All right, this is somebody we need to follow, you know?
All right, no doubt, no doubt. JP, the producer, when did you get, you know, ear to streets about Timbaland?
Like you, I didn't realize the Devontae stuff until after, you know, you hear the stories, but it was definitely with Aaliyah. Like, even I paid attention to If Your Girl Only Knew, but I didn't really like that song. I thought it was okay, but One in a Million, really, that was the song that was like, because it was so different than what we were used to hearing. So I was just like, and then after that, like, he's held in high regard for that alone. There are certain producers that come in the game and make their, you know, are great and make great songs, but then there are a few producers that change the game. He's one of those that changed the game. That's why he's held in high regard with me. So I think One in a Million, If Your Girl Only Knew, of course, but One in a Million was the song that I was like, yo, this dude is different. Because everybody was trying to get that sound after that. You know that.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. And the same with me, it was One in a Million. I heard Pony. I probably like Pony more now.
I like it more now. Yeah, me too.
Like I remember hearing it, I was like, all right, that's cool, you know. But I didn't think of nothing.
Right.
And JP, like you said, and I'm gonna talk about another producer who I equate him to later on. But Timbaland gives me these freeze tag moments. And what I mean by that is if you was a shorty used to play freeze tag, you play tag, then you freeze and you can't move until somebody else tags you. I know young folk out there like, what the fuck is freeze tag? But they really are. Somebody's like, the fuck is tag? Like, what's that game? Can I download that? Like, nah, but I mean, I'll never forget, I was in my man Osei's studio on Morgan's campus, and One in a Million, the video came on, and like, we just froze. Like, it was like, yo, what the fuck is that? Like, we're in the middle of making beats and making songs, and it was just like, yo, the video came on, and we were like, I'm like, yo, why are the drums doing that? Like, I never heard anything like that. And it like literally, like, we all were just frozen, just watching this video, like, yo, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And another time that I remember that was when I was in my man Montez's Jeep, a fucking rodeo on my block in Philly, and he played me Wordplay from Tribe. And it was the same thing when I first heard Dilla. It was like, yo, what the fuck are these drums doing? Like, I heard Wordplay, and I literally went right in my mom's basement, turned on the ASR, and was trying to do whatever the fuck I just heard. And that's the same feeling I had when I heard Timbaland. it was just like, I've never heard nothing like this. And like JP said, as time went on, you saw every genre trying to emulate what Timbaland was doing, which is very similar to Dilla in my opinion, because R&B was doing it, gospel was doing it, everybody was doing the same thing with Dilla, like that whole neo soul, touch of jazz, Jill Scott music, gospel was doing it, R&B was doing it. So that's when I kind of knew, even just after, I don't know what I heard after 1 in a Million, but it was just like, even then I was like, yo, this gonna be some shit right here. Like, and then as it just kept moving forward, it just got even better for me. So tell me this, y'all, top 5 favorite Timbaland joints and why? Porsche, what's your top 5 and why?
Let me get my list
give you like all of them?
Yeah, give them all.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got If Your Girl Only Knew by Aaliyah. And then I'll explain why. But If Your Girl Only Knew, This Is for the Lover in You by Babyface. I love that song.
Wow.
Up Jumps the Boogie by Aaliyah. And Go Deep remix, Janet Jackson. And
I put that as a sleeper. Oh,
yeah, it's also a sleeper, but I have that as one of my favorites. And Try Again, Aaliyah. So for me, I think Timbaland, and I think we'll get to this when, I'll expand on it when we get to the legacy of Timbaland, in my opinion, for me. But I just think that, like, Aaliyah was the voice to go with Timbaland for me. And I think that the stuff that she had early on, or around that time, was just the best. Like, it stuck with me. I was a fan of Aaliyah out the gate. Like, I loved everything about her. I love her music always. I don't remember a time where I didn't, love it. But then the Babyface part, I just think it's just so, like, out of character almost for Babyface to pair up with a producer like Timbaland, because he's got such high energy, sort of uppity beats. For me, that song is like that song to me is one of my favorite Babyface songs ever, because it's just so dope. I just love the beats. I love the energy. I love the way they pair with the artist. I think they all do a really great job of highlighting the vocals and bringing the fun out of the artist that usually may have like slower, softer, meeker sort of songs. Timbaland has this ability to kind of bring them out of that shell or out of that comfort and make them pop in a way. So that's what I love about those.
All right, no doubt. JR, what you got for your top 5?
My top 5. Okay, I got Are You That Somebody, Hot Like Fire remix, 1 in a Million, Pony, and then actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Sexy Back by
Justin Timberlake.
I have a Justin one too, don't worry.
I got plenty of Justin.
All right, time out. Real quick. Eddie, what's good?
That was good. What's good,
Eddie,
Kill?
what's up?
Hey,
Everything
Eddie.
good. Everything
What's good, fam?
Eddie.
JR, we're going to put a pin in that, Justin, because I want to talk about that. Eddie, first time that you heard Timbaland, first time that you knew he was going to be a problem.
Oh, God. I'm trying to remember what came first. Was it like the Timbaland, the Magoo stuff, or like the Missy stuff? But,
I want to say Missy came first before Magoo, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was the Super Duper Fly, right? That was her first single.
Yeah, that was like 97.
Yeah. So around that time, Timbaland could do no wrong. It's like everything he was doing, man, was like hot. Like even he had the joint with Jay-Z, the lobster and shrimp joint.
Right.
That was off of some kind of soundtrack, wasn't it?
No, that was his solo album, the Tim's Bio joint. That was off that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I think that Super Duper Fly was the first time. I think from the beginning, like, I thought he was going to be a problem, but just once I kind of heard like him do that, then he did his own solo, and then the Timbaland and Magoo, and then the Genuine, and once I started hearing him produce for so many different artists, and it was all dope. That's when I really knew it was like, yeah, he's a problem.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Now, JR, you were saying Justin Sexy Back. You got an issue? Like, why you say it like that?
What, as far as what? Come on.
Now you like, I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Come on. Y'all all know where I stand with this. Y'all all know, but I'm here. I'm music, but I'm here for the music though. So I'm not gonna doubt just because I feel about him. The music is dope.
I forgot the Super Bowl thing. My bad.
Yeah. I'm not. So I'm not gonna play it. You know what I'm saying? But Sexy Back, when that joint came out, it was dope. Like when you heard it, it was like, I was like, damn, why do I like this? But I was like, all right. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? So the joint is dope. 1 in a million, like y'all said. When I heard that joint, it was just different. It was something different. And the first time I think I heard it, I saw the video, like you said, and I saw the video, and I remember me and Mom sitting there. We was like, "What is this 2-timing beat going on? Like this is something that's different here." Because it was just like everybody. It was kind of like the change, and everybody was trying to follow that quote-unquote Mary thing when it came to R&B during that time. Right. So now it's like Aaliyah comes out and it's like, whoa, this ain't the same girl that was doing the other stuff when she first came out. This is something different. So when I heard 1 in a million, that joint, crazy. Hot Like Fire remix, I don't even listen to the original version. That version is so plain to me. Like, it's plain. So like what Timbaland did on that, crazy. And then Are You That Somebody? What can I say? That beat is sick. And it's funny when he talks about it and how, you know, he made that beat in like what? He said like an hour, and they had to get the song out because it was about to be on the Dr. Dolittle joint, and they told him they had the first single and they didn't really have it, and to know what they went through, and he made a crazy beat, and him and Static was sitting there for like an hour and was like, this is it. They did the song, and the song was out on the radio about an hour after they did it. So yeah, so to get something like that, that's crazy. But Are You That Somebody is my favorite Timbaland beat, honestly.
That's dope. That's dope. JP, what you got for your top 5?
Stuff like this is always difficult, so I don't really say it's a top 5, but just the 5 that come to my mind when I think about them. Right. So, because he got so many different tracks. So, 1 in a million. Let's get that out the way, of course, because of the impact. More Than a Woman, the song that I remember hearing that song, and the song sounding so big. It sounded like the sounds he used were so big. Crazy. She's a Bitch. Love that record. Who's She to You? Brandy. That beat.
I had that as a slept on. Damn it.
That beat right there is insane. Ooh. And I'm gonna go with All in My Grill. I like All in My Grill with Nicole Ray on the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like that joint right there is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's 5.
That's what's up. Eddie, what you got?
All right, man. I'm kind of winging it. You know, but. You know what I mean? I had to come here to be with the crew, man. You know what I mean? Like, start a job, like, been working and stuff. So let me see. I got 4 written down. I may come up with the 4th. So Work It by Missy. That was Tim, right? Yeah, I love that joint. I remember Tim saying something about that one, like that, something to the effect, and I thought he was throwing shade. He said something to the effect to Missy that all her other singles, he didn't really like that until it came to Work It. Wow. Man. Yeah, I forgot the interview, but even Missy said it herself. She said like Missy said that Timbaland gave her feedback like he wasn't like really that high on most of her singles, but like Work It was like the one he was like, yeah, that's the one, that's the banger. More Than a Woman and Are You That Somebody by Aaliyah. I got them both. I'm going Love Stoned.
Good one.
I Think She Knows by Justin Timberlake. And then gosh.
He got so many.
Let me think, man. So many. What was the Carrie Hilson song he did? What's it?
Carrie Hilson?
I know he did Return the Favor.
He did a joint called like Slow Dance or something with Carrie Hilson. That was a slow.
I mean, I
Nah, he did an up tempo joint with her. I forgot.
Oh, the way I
Return
are.
the favor.
Was it The Way I Are?
Oh, The Way You Are. Yeah, Way I Are. Yeah, that was on his Shock Value album. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably that one. I mean, I could probably come up with other ones, but you know, given like I'm winging it, I'll go with that one for now.
All right, no doubt. First joint I got, Are You That Somebody? Yo, that joint was just stupid. I remember it was the summer of '98. I was in NY at some club. It was an industry shit. Jay was there. And the party, the thing about Are You That Somebody is it's slow tempo. It's not an up-tempo joint. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but everybody in the party lost it. Like nobody was mad. You know what I mean? Like, JP, I know you remember Rollo from Morgan, you know, God bless the dead. I remember one time we was in the studio and he was like, yo, we can't be doing that buckshot, not too underground to make them stop when you mingle. Like you don't want to make something that's so underground that while people having a good time, it stops you, you know, but that thing was just, it was another freeze tag moment for me. Like it was frozen. The first time I heard You Are That Somebody, I'm like, yo, what the fuck again? And then you got a baby in it. You got a baby in it. Like it literally was like RZA on Woo Wear with a doorbell. It was like, nigga, why is there a doorbell here in this song? Like it was just one of those things that's just like, he would just throw anything in there, you know?
Right.
And I mean, the video to that was just one of the dopest videos to me, like ever. The choreography, just everything about the video was just perfect. Another frozen in time moment is Oops by Tweet. I remember driving in Philly, me and T driving
that's a dope one,
on the radio, and we was like, yo, again, what the fuck? And JP, I'm sure you understand this as a producer. I know for me, it takes a lot to fuck my head up as a producer. You know what I mean? Because, and JP, I want to get into this a little bit later, which when we talk about legacy, but you know, I know for me, like when I first started producing, it was like, I looked at Premier and Pete and them dudes is like, guys, like, how do you do this? And then you start to find out how they do it. It's almost like a magician. When you watch a magician, you're like, oh shit, but then you become the magician and now you can do the trick. I'm no way saying I'm doing this as good as Pete Rockers. I'm just saying that I understand how the trick is done. With Timbaland, it's like, how is the trick done? Like, I'm like, still like, how where's your thought process? So when I heard Oops, it was just like, yo, come on again. And then just the whole, again, I feel like it's hard to give, and I don't know, JP, JR, do you know, or everybody, is Missy writing a lot of the stuff that's going along with the Timbaland stuff? I know Static did a lot for Aaliyah, but because I want to also say it's not just a great beat. These are great songs. So I almost want to salute the songwriter just as much as I'm saluting the producer, because we could be naming joints that are just good beats, but no, we're naming great songs. So
yeah, that's what it is.
It's kind of just like, you know, if I want to tap my hat to Static, R.I.P.
Yeah, because that's who did Are You That Somebody. Yeah,
right. You know, like all those people who are behind those pens of these Timbaland songs are just, you got to salute them too, because these are incredible songs. I'm going with So Anxious by Genuine. Again, the first time I heard that, I was just like, here we go again. Like Timbaland became and we'll talk about this later, but I look at Timbaland, whenever I think of him, I think of R&B first. Just me. So he became the R&B's version of Premier for me. Like if I saw produced by Timbaland, I'm there. Like I don't need to hit. I ain't know who a tweet was. Didn't matter. Give it to me. Like if Timbaland's name is on it, then it's like when they sent us the 12-inch to All City. We was like, who the fuck is All City? Primo did the A side, Pete did the B side. Don't matter. You're gonna play it live right on air without even listening. Because it's Pete and Primo. Like, how can you not go wrong with this? So Anxious. Sock It To Me with the Brat by Missy.
I love that song.
That's a good one.
That's a real good one. He High with that Gina Thompson remix. I was like, yo, this chick is whack. I don't know what the fuck the game is going to. Yo, I was wrong as the day is long when it came to Missy, because I was like, shorty is whack. I didn't like I Can't Stand the Rain. I was like, I do not see the hype around this. But when I heard Sock It To Me and that beat, and then the Brat destroying that joint, I know I talk shit about the Brat a lot, but Brat, when you need a 16, Brat can body something.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Body. You know, not gonna listen to the whole Brat album, but you need a 16. We gotta put her up there. And then, like everybody else said, 1 in a Million. I mean, it was my intro to Timbaland. The beat, the drums. And then the crickets. Like, why are there crickets in this song? Like, it was just, again, it was just like just whatever the fuck. I mean, I'm intrigued. Like, these are questions I want to ask Timbo. Like, nigga, were there crickets outside? Were you sampling the crickets? Was that in the song? Or what made you think to put a cricket in there? So those are my top five.
Just like the baby cooing or crying in Are You That Somebody?
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Now tell me this. Slept on joints, because the thing that I think about Timbaland is he's so big. He reminds me, and I'm not saying this in the same realm, I'm just saying how you can be a Prince fan but not really know any B-sides. You can be a Prince fan and not know the, you know, what's on side, you know, the different, you just know all the singles. You could be a Stevie. So I'm not comparing Prince to Timbaland. Nobody tweet at me.
I'm just saying if they realize that. We know what you meant.
I'm just saying that Timbaland has such a huge, just off the singles alone, most people are a fan of Timbaland. But for the people who may not be that deep into it, the B-side. So Porsche, what are 5 slept on Timbaland joints?
I have 4 because for me, I feel like
however many you have, many you have.
The thing is for me, like when I was trying to make this list, I was like, really, is this slept on? Like, is anything Timbaland does slept on really? Like, there's gonna be people who are like, Portia, how the hell do you think like that song charted for, I don't know, 15 weeks in a row? That's not slept on. So I'm not talking about slept on song as much as like maybe slept on beat. And I think that was the assignment. So I feel like as a beat, when we talk about like dope beats in R&B or dope beats in hip hop, like we don't really mention these, or I don't really hear them. And maybe that's just me, but okay, so that's my disclaimer. So I have Can We by SWV. I love that song. I love SWV. That's a dope album to me. And I just think SWV in general is slept on because I don't hear people talk about them except for maybe JR.
Right?
Yes. And this one, like, again, I love when Timbaland kind of pairs up with R&B because that's his bag. I think that is his bag for me. And we'll talk about that again in Legacy. But then I have The Jump Off, Mr. Cheeks and Lil Kim.
Yes.
That one, great yes, it's a great record. And it is everything you want a banger to be from beginning to end. Right. Mr. Cheeks is dope. I love Mr. Cheeks. Like Lil Kim bodies it. I love that those two are on that album. I think Timbaland just gets it. He gets them, they get him. It's just a perfect pairing. That album, I mean, that track is just everything you want a banger to be. And again, I don't hear people bigging it up or talking about it as much as they should, because that should be on like every DJ's list of things to play at any gathering of more than 3 people, in my opinion. So take heed. And then I have My Love by Justin Timberlake. I think I just love that song a lot, and I have to give the beat some credit there too, because it's catchy, it stands out, it kind of sticks in your head, and I love that. So great on Timbaland for doing that one. And Make Me Better by Fab and Neo. That one to me is also like, I love the R&B and hip hop meets, and then Timbaland in there as well. I think that's a good show of range in a way. And I know that sounds silly because Timbaland is such a great producer that saying that it shows range, obviously he's got range. But for me, after hearing Timbaland mostly on R&B for me, I like to hear a rapper on it that way as well. So yeah, those are mine.
All right, slept on. JR, slept on joints.
All right, so I got What's So Different by Genuine. Yes, I love that because of the sample of the Monkeys gallery they used. I was like, how the hell did he use that? I was like, that was crazy. I was like, yo, he murked that. Another slept on joint is Anonymous by Bobby Valentino. Love that record. I was blasting that joint on the way home from work. And like, nobody don't talk about that joint. But then I was thinking, like, this is 2007. This is the time where Justin is out. Nelly Furtado is out. This is all Timbaland's crossovers. So right now, you know what I'm saying, the R&B wasn't getting as much as love that, you know, that it should. So I think a lot of people don't talk about Anonymous, even though it kind of like peaked at like 16 or something. But Timbaland was in that Justin bag. He was in that Nelly Furtado bag. It was like, oh yeah, I'll give you this R&B stuff, but I'm getting that crossover money right now. So they didn't really push it like I thought. Ladies in the House, which is on 1 in a Million. That is like, I think it's like track. It's before the one I gave my heart to. I think maybe track 15. That joint is sick. Like, yo, you listen to that joint and the way it comes in, and it's like in the beginning, it sounds like a car, and then he got the beat that comes in. It's like, it's hard, yo. So nobody don't really talk about that because everybody, of course, talks about 1 in a Million, you know, 4-page letter, you know, If Your Girl Only Knew, dumb joints. But nobody talk about Ladies in the House, and it's just Missy, Tim, and Aaliyah, and the joint is crazy. Portia already said it, but I feel like this is definitely slept on. The Go D remix, I like it better than the original. I love it. I love what Timbaland did on there, and Missy behind Janet on the harmonies, crazy. So when I got that single, and I was like, oh, Timbaland did a beat on this? Okay, let's see what this about. Bodied it. I was like, I don't even listen to the original Go Deep anymore because of that remix. No, he murked it. Like, oh my God. Like when Kill was saying today, like y'all said, it was so hard. But I was like, I knew my step on was gonna be so deep. And I was at work like, God damn this shit. Nah. I was like, I wish Janet would have did that for the video rather than the version. No disrespect to Jimmy Jam, you know, I love you. But that, and then Who Is She to You? That to me, I feel like is so slept on, and I love that he used that Leon Ware and Minnie Riperton, like the way he murked that and put that, and the way he flipped it and did all that, and it didn't get the love that it was supposed to because you know Brandy was going through her drama, that foolishness, so people was kind of like not really rocking with her. So it was like that beat is crazy. I was like, oh my God! Like when I heard it, I was like. Oh, I was like Timbaland, because you know we was kind of nervous with Timbaland working with Brandy anyway. It was like, how is this gonna work? Where is this gonna go?
I don't know if I was.
I wasn't nervous either.
I wasn't nervous. I think that's I know you're a Brandy fan, so I mean, I'm just saying when you
I was because I know Brandy wanted to work with Missy and Timbaland back in '97. But they told her no because that was Aaliyah's producer. So they was like, nah, we got to find you somebody else. So then I was like, I don't know if Brandy is going to be able to ride these beats like Aaliyah would.
So she wanted to work with them and Missy and Tim said no?
No. Because Brandy and Aaliyah's on the same label. They were on Atlantic. Oh, okay. So when Aaliyah came out with 1 in a Million and she heard it, Brandy was like, yo, I want to work with Missy and Timbaland. But Craig was the president of Atlantic. He was like, no, we got to find you your own producer. That's Aaliyah. Something
happened with her and what was her producer's name?
Rodney Jerkins.
Rodney
Jerkins. So this
he found Rodney because Rodney also worked with Aaliyah on on that album too. Okay. On 1 in a Million. So he was like, all right, let's give you Rodney. And then they ended up creating that and we got Never Say Never. But she wanted to. But I was nervous because I was like, I don't know if Brandy gonna ride these beats like Aaliyah's going to. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so used to her and Rodney. She just did Never Say Never. Came up for Full Moon. But I was happy because I heard Turn It Up. Because y'all remember that was leaked. Turn It Up was leaked back in 2003. And I heard it on Music Choice. And I was like, okay, and Timbaland did this. I was like, all right, I can dig it. But I was like, oh no, I hope he's not doing the whole album. Because I was like, oh, how this gonna work? And then when I heard Who Is She to You, I was like, oh shit, okay, we in there now. Like, all right, how Timbaland did it. And when I listened to Aphrodite, which we gonna get into, but yeah, Who Is She to You? Definitely him using that, Instant Love by Leon Ware. He killed it.
I feel like JR was in every single studio session of every single producer in all of R&B ever. Anytime someone's like, I wonder what the studio, I'm like, ask JR, he was probably there. He knows the conversations, he knows the issues, like everything.
Now tell me this, y'all. I loved Aphrodisiac. I thought it was an incredibly dope album. I always have assumed that the masses didn't like it because it was the instant Aaliyah comparison. Like, I'll say this. I know people who were like, it wasn't better than him and Aaliyah. It's almost like Primo doing another album with somebody outside of Guru. And it's just like, they're comparing it to Guru instead of just listening to it as a body of work. So again, I know people who felt like, I'm not really feeling this album because that's not the magic him and Aaliyah had. I'm like, I feel you, but it's still a dope album. Do y'all feel like that's maybe one of the because I never hear any Brandy fan talk about Aphrodisiac like that. And it was period, not even a Brandy fan, just any fan.
It was. I think that was part of it, but then she was coming off her lying about her marriage.
Okay.
So everybody was kind of like I wasn't even rocking with it. I ain't even gonna lie. I was pissed. I was like, as a fan, you like, first of all, you gave me Full Moon, which I know y'all gonna think I'm bugging. I think it's overrated, in my opinion, as a fan of hers.
You know what it is with me and Brandy? Since I'm not a fan, you gotta tell me what's on Full Moon. Give me a single.
That's Full Moon. What About Us?
What About Us?
What About Us?
What About Us? Love Doesn't Count Me Out. He is.
Full Moon, the single. The single. It was a single.
Right. Yeah, the single Full Moon too.
The album title was a single too.
And I think
what's almost doesn't count. What album?
That was on Never Say Never. That's my favorite shit right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think with that, so she coming off of that, and I'm like, okay, she working with Timbaland. How is it gonna work? The comparisons was already gonna be there because they always compared them three: Brandy, Monica, and Aaliyah. They were the girls. They were together. So you thinking, wait a minute, she's working with Timbaland now. So she's, even though Aaliyah ain't here no more, but you like, how is this gonna work? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people was looking at that way. Then again, with her lying about her marriage, so that was messing up everything. And then you had other girls that was coming out during this time. This is Beyonce, Alicia Keys, like these are everybody paying attention to them. So Brandy, because Brandy was the it girl. So now she isn't. So she isn't getting pushed. She isn't thinking. And then you like, all right, she working with Tim. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know. That was me. And then as a fan, she lied. So I was like, you know what, Brandy, you could take this album and stick it. That's where I was with it. But then I got it. Was like, yo, this shit is dope.
No doubt.
Yeah, I like that album. Yeah.
JP, what you got for your slept on joints?
Oh man, it's like I said, like Paul said earlier, like with a producer like Timbaland, is any of his joints really slept on? But I guess some of them could be. One of them, I'll say, Ride or Die by the Locks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ride or Die, bitch. Like, cause that doesn't sound like your typical Timbaland joint. You know, Timbaland had developed a sound, you know, where it kind of sounds, that sounds like Timbaland. Let's see what another joint. Picasso Baby by him on Jay-Z album Magna Carta. Because that definitely didn't sound like, when I was like Timbaland, because that shit is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. And I was like, this sounds like some Primo shit. That's what it really sounded like to me. So he might have been in his bag for that. I love that joint. I'll Do Anything, I'm Sorry by Genuine. Where he sampled Stevie Wonder. Man, listen, I love that record. I love that record. It's a good record, man. Say My Name remix, Destiny's Child.
Come on, JP.
Man.
Come on, JP. Woo!
Man, that record right there. Like I kind of like it better than the original, personally. Like it's a different.
Sorry, Rodney.
Feel. I love it. And my last one, I'm gonna go with Icebox by Omarion.
Now
I thought about
Danger
that.
did that.
Huh?
Danger did that.
Oh well, I mean,
which is something I wanted to say. Which is something I want to get in your ear about later. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been on the timeline all day talking about Dre and Daz and everything like that, and I want to get in your ear.
Now I see why I was coming up on our timeline. About
that towards the end. But because that's the valid point right there. That's actually Danger who did. Well, I think, you know what? That's my bad. I want to say it is listed as Timbaland,
It is listed as
But
Timbo.
I think
That's what I'm saying.
Danger claims it. There's another song out there. I can't remember where it was that it sound. You think it's Timbaland, but it's actually credited.
I know he did a lot of the Justice stuff with Timbaland. You know what I'm saying? So I know that. Yeah.
Right.
So when you say that, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because you brought that up too, Kill, because you know those songs that, like, two of them that Kanye did, you know, on Aphrodisiac, Timbaland did the drumming on it, right?
That's in here too. It's
So you gonna talk? Okay, all right,
It's
okay, we gonna go there. Okay, we going there. Okay,
it's
cool.
coming. Eddie, what you got for slept on joints, bro?
All right, I got. Let's see. I knew no one was gonna mention this one, but yo, man, I gotta put that "Ugly Joint" by Bubba Sparks. Like, cause yo, for like, I ain't trying to offend nobody out there. So anyone watching this, if you get offended by this term,
Eddie, think very quickly about what I'm gonna say. I do not feel like fucking being canceled this week. So please be very quiet.
All right, I'll rephrase it. I'll rephrase it. Right. So for a fat country white dude like Bubba Sparks, right? That you don't expect. Like Tim gave him a banger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I wasn't really feeling Bubba like that, but that was a banger. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's slept on because people don't really mess with Bubba Sparks like that, but it's dope. I gotta join. I put this as slept on because this is like kind of like a personal joint that me and my wife enjoy. It's off the Shock Value album. It's called "Kill Yourself." I think it's I think it's a Timbaland solo joint. I'm not sure if anyone else is rapping on it, but yeah, that joint is dope, man. I love that. I got the Stilo remix, 702. That was dope. Missy, For My People. This is For My People. Yo, that joint and another Missy joint, All in My Grill.
Yeah, definitely all my girls crazy. I got this joint right here that nobody talks about. Cheers to You by Player. The song. I love Cheers to You.
You're being unfair.
That's a crazy joint. My brain, I'm 47, it's not working the same. I don't think Timbaland produced all of this, and my 47-year-old eyes who refuse to get glasses can't see the liner notes anymore, so I can't even tell you if the whole thing. But it's a good damn album, even if he did or not. But of course, he did the title cut, Cheers to You, which I love. All in My Grill, Eddie said it. JP, you said it earlier as one of your favorite songs. I love those drums, love the strings. Big Boy kills it. Nicole Ray kills it. Just an incredible joint. I'll Be Around by CeeLo. That joint was just
amazing. I forgot about that.
And I'll Be Around. Again, and I'll get into it later, but you know, Timbaland's drums, it's not just the double studded drums, it's all of his drums just sound great. Like, you really turn up that I'll Be Around and that joint sounds crazy. JP, you said it, I'll Do Anything by Genuine. That was just, from the second I heard that, it was just a rap. John Blaze by Aaliyah Missy. It was on Tim's bio, the first Timbaland compilation album. If you haven't heard that, check that out. John Blaze, Aaliyah and Missy, which is crazy. And then Hey Poppy with Jay and Bleak in the middle. Like, I love
Oh shit, I forgot about
that joint. That actually may be my favorite Jay and Timbo collabo right there, because I love Hey Poppy. But Bleak kills it. I mean, the middle even actually sounds good on it. Like, it's just a dope joint all the way around. All right, so tell me this. This is something I just thought of, so this is gonna be something, a freestyle off the top. Who do you think Tim has the dopest chemistry with, not named Missy?
What, we talking about albums, or you?
I mean, just anything. Like, who do you think he has the best chemistry with? Like, somebody like CL said, the best to ever do it on a Pete Rock track. Like, Pete Rock has worked with everybody, but you may think he has the best chemistry with CL, you know? So if we took CL out the picture, then it'd be like, yo, who do you think Pete Rock has gelled with the best over time that they linked up? Somebody may say AZ from Rather Unique, or something over here, you know. Somebody else may say, yo, all that stuff he did.
Producing, or as like an artist, or
like producing. Like,
wow.
Like, I know for me it's Aaliyah. Like, I just love him and Aaliyah. Like, You know, like that's the one album I always wish we got, just the entire Timbaland produced Aaliyah album. And everything like that. So everybody's Aaliyah. Everybody's in the Aaliyah boat.
Aaliyah and like Magoo. Like what is Magoo without Timbaland? Like what do you?
Magoo is with Timbaland. Like I don't even know. I don't even think Timbaland could save his ass. Like here's the thing. Like home. Like at least we look at group home. We like them niggas can't rap, but goddamn, right. I don't even think Timbaland could save Magoo. Like Primo was able to save Malachi. I don't know if he saved Magoo.
We listened to tracks. I mean, every single Timbaland and Magoo, like they were kind of synonymous with each other. It was like, oh, Timbaland and Magoo. Like anytime, I've never heard anybody mention Magoo without Timbaland. What does he do if he's not like just chilling with Timbaland? Like, I don't.
Hey,
I
got one, and you know, I know JR kind of said his spiel about this dude earlier.
I'm not mad about what you're about to say either.
But Justin Timberlake, man, because Future Sex Love Sounds and the 2020 Future Sex Love Sounds and the 2020 Experience, amazing album.
That's why I'm going there, because Kill was like asked about what was your top as a producer, what was your favorite producer. So I was gonna go
like
there.
Both of those albums, like I feel like, you know, Justified was cool. It was like half Pharrell and half Timbo.
It was mostly Neptune.
I think Timbaland
got like 2 songs,
and then Brian McKnight did a joint or something like
that.
That basically was Pharrell.
Yeah, but I feel like when he went with Timbaland, when he did the full albums with Timbaland, like I feel like he really took off. That's when. Yeah,
I ain't mad at that. That's definitely a good pick. JP, you with Aaliyah?
Yeah, I'm with Aaliyah, but yeah, I'm not mad at Justin because they made some incredible music. But that Aaliyah, that was special.
All right, no doubt. What is your favorite produced Timbaland album?
I got 2.
I'm staying in the Eddie vein. I'm going with the first 2020 Experience joint.
I
love that joint. It's 5 mics. The way that every beat changes towards like every song is like 8 minutes and the beat changes all the time. It was just like, yo, this is like from Pusha Love. I can't even remember that song. Pusha Love Girl, just everything. Just the beat switches were just, you know, incredible to me. And I think they made both those albums in a month, which was crazy to me because it was like Justin had to go get ready to do a movie or something. So it's like, yo, we got 1 month. Let's lock ourselves in here and just bang this out. And Volume 2 wasn't as good as the first 2020. I mean, it was good, but the first 2020 was just a 5-mic classic. Future Sex Love Sounds is a 5-mic classic to me. Like, just both incredible albums. So that's my favorite JT produced album. What about you, Portia?
You mean Timbaland produced album?
Oh, Timbaland. I'm sorry. Who did I say?
Yeah. Okay, you said JT produced album, and I was like, wait a minute. What? Mine would have to be the same. And we'll talk about this when we get into legacy. I guess I have a lot to say about his legacy, but I'm going to stick with the 2020 Experience as well.
All right, JR.
All right, so I actually got 3. Okay. All right, the first one is 100% Genuine.
Okay.
I think Timbaland killed that. I think, you know, coming off the Bachelor, which was kind of like whatever, which was cool. But once they got 100% Genuine with Same OG, So Anxious, None of Your Friends' Business.
None of Your Friends' Business, man.
Right. Oh my God. Like, Final Warning with him and Aaliyah. That album is sick, like from beginning to end. That's, if you want to talk about a Genuine album, goes there. You know what I mean? And I think their chemistry was at its peak right there. You know what I'm saying? Because I think after that, that's when Timbaland started really working with everybody else, and you know, him and Genuine wasn't getting along, I guess. I think Genuine just did an interview like a year ago about it, but yeah, 100% Genuine. Future Sex Love Sound. Yeah. Look, music is what it is, and him, Danger, and Justin bodied that record. Like, it's not a song on there that you cannot like. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not even the biggest 3-6 Mafia fan, but Chop It Up is crazy. Like, it's crazy, and it sounds like 3-6 from, you know what I'm saying, 8 style, but it still got the Timbaland sound to it. So that whole project is dope. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't giving Justin too much. All right. So, and then since he did like 80% of Aphrodisiac, I'm gonna give him Aphrodisiac. Even though I feel like he should get a little bit more because they only gave, you know, those 2 songs that Kanye did is like Timbaland did the drumming on it, but he still was a part of it, but they don't really give it to him. So it's like, all right, fine. So he did like 80% of the project, bodied it. Everything on that album is dope. A lot of these new people are inspired by it. Rihanna said she loves the album and she was doing Good Girl Gone Bad. That's what she was playing. Chris Brown said he loves that album. Like Solange said that's her favorite album, period. Like a lot of these people was inspired by Aphrodisiac. It didn't sell like that, but Timbaland bodied it and Brandy floated on it. Vocally killed it. So those 3 are my favorite when it comes to Timbaland produced.
All right. What about you, JP?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the 2020 experience because out of all the projects that y'all mentioned, that's probably the album I've played the most. I really, I really judge it by how much I play. So and Future Sex Love Sounds is an incredible album, but like you was talking about earlier, Kill, how on the 2020 experience, how the beat always changes and it takes you into another like Strawberry Bubblegum. Man,
I had it on my list.
Bro, the second half of that,
yo.
Now I got a question for y'all.
They was in their bag in that album. They was in like Suit and Tie is probably the wackest song on there. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's the song I probably skip all the time.
I never really liked that song either, to tell you the truth. I didn't really love it. But the rest of that album, man, that was special. That was special.
What you saying, Gerald?
Yeah, I got a question. So y'all know what the difference between when people be like online and be like your best and your favorite, right?
Right.
So I always feel like, to me, my favorite is the 2020 experience. Like I love that. Like Don't Hold the Wall, Strawberry Bubblegum, and
Don't Hold the Wall. My God.
Don't let the what is it? Let the groove in. Oh my God.
That beat is crazy.
Oh, and he did that at the concert. And like it was nuts. I didn't pay for the ticket, so yeah. So
this man is not supporting Justin Timberlake at all.
I did. I brought
2020. Right.
I brought 2020. I did. I ain't gonna lie. I brought 2020. But yo, because a lot of people feel like the best is Future Sex, but like people favorites say like it's the 2020 experience because that's my favorite. But I feel like the best because like y'all said, y'all can skip Suit and Tie, right?
Yeah.
What can you skip on Future Sex Love Sound though?
I had to listen again. It's been a while, but I gotta listen again.
I mean, I think they're both incredible. I don't think you're wrong if you say either one is his best.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was getting at. Okay.
Yeah. To me, the equivalent, again, not the equivalent, but to me, they're similar to Low End and Midnight. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with either one. You know what I mean? If you prefer Midnight, you prefer Midnight. You prefer Low End, you prefer Low End. You prefer Future Sex, you prefer 2020. They're both incredible albums. You know what I mean? And I didn't even think they were going to be able to top Future Sex Love Sounds, to be honest with you. And to then come back with that is just insanity right there. So that's crazy. Eddie, what do you have for your favorite produced Timbo album?
Yo, I probably go with Future Sex. I think the problem for me with the 2020 experience was kind of the confusion where, all right, you have when the first one came out and then the second one, and I want to say like they kind of changed around the track listing when they came out with the full experience, and that kind of it kind of messed it up for me a little bit. So at least I know Future Sex Love Sound, like the track listing is all the same.
So what happened? You're saying when the second one came out, they put out a whole CD and they mixed the two together?
They came out with the full experience version. Because I never had it. I never had it on CD.
Yeah, I never knew this. I just had
it on streaming. Yeah. I mean, Future Sex I have on CD. The other one I just had on streaming, and when they came out with the full, I was like, all right, let me hear it. And the track listing was all over, you know, compared to when just the part one came out.
Right.
But also what I love about Few Sex, so like My Love came out as a single, but then the album version, how they have that intro to it, like where Tim is doing his little beatbox and where they're kind of freestyling
how it goes
back
from the
and
last
forth.
song into the next
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
Yeah,
Goes
like
Sexy
I
Lady
love
to
Right.
My Love.
Right. All right, that's
it's
what's
just
up.
dope, man. Yeah.
Now tell me this: what do y'all do? You see, like I said earlier, I see Timbaland as an R&B producer first and foremost. I know people. I mean, he's done Jay. He's done some hip hop, but I see him as an R&B producer. How do y'all see him first? As a hip hop or R&B? Porsche?
I see him as, yeah, I would say R&B if those are my choices, but I really see Timbaland as more of like teetering on the edge of like pop, if that makes sense. Like he's almost like a pop producer. And maybe that's just his range. Like he can do hip hop, he can do R&B, he can do pop, and he does them all very well. But for me, yeah, I would say R&B teetering on the side of pop.
All right. What about you?
Because of Nelly Furtado, let's be honest, and Justin Timberlake. Like they're not R&B and they're not hip hop. So like I don't know.
And he produced Rock Joints, right?
But do you see
that One Republic?
When you think about Timbaland, Nelly and Justin would come to mind first.
Like
to me, if he was mine, that would be a very small percentage.
It is a very small percentage, but the problem with that is that he partners with people who chart for a really long time. So like you're constantly hearing, and especially like before streaming and before like Sirius satellite radio and all that kind of stuff, all you had really was the radio, at least here. And so we were constantly hearing that to the point where I was like, man, I'd rather just not listen to the radio ever, So for me, yeah, it's R&B again, teetering on pop. I have to say it that way. I can't remove him from pop.
All right, JL, what about you?
When I first think about him, I think about him as an R&B producer. For sure, like especially where he comes from, you know what I mean, and knowing where he come from, that Devontae Basement Crew situation, then to know where we actually was introduced to him by, it was R&B records, and he just kept doing that, and then he had sprinkled, hip hop in there, but when it comes to Timbaland, I'm like, he's definitely R&B for sure.
All right, JP.
Yeah, I definitely say R&B, but I mean, to me, I guess. Because when he first came out, like really when I started paying attention to him as a producer and him, it was with Missy. So Missy rhymes and she sings too. So, and he does it. So it's like, they were like, it was, I think it was pretty balanced, but like you said, he started doing the Nelly Furtado stuff and One Republic and, Justin Timberlake, all this stuff. So like, he's a well-rounded producer, but I would definitely say it's balanced between R&B and hip hop, leaning more towards R&B though.
And it's funny because when you bring up Missy, I have people who I know who consider Missy an MC. I don't know. I've never considered Missy anything, to be honest. And I love Missy. That's not a knock. But I don't know if I consider... I just know I don't consider her an MC first. So I guess in my mind, Missy would be a singer first. I just never have thought of Missy. When you say Missy Elliott, I've never thought of, female MC. So... Really? Yeah, I don't know why. I just, I don't know if because...
She's just an artist.
Yeah, that's so funny because for me, it's producer. Missy and I think producer.
It's not even a knock on Missy. I'm not trying to diss her, but I think when I think of MC, I think of Rod Digger. I think of Light. I think of Rhapsody. I think of people like that. Like, to me, Missy is just fun, which is bad because you should be able to be just a fun MC. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's what I've just never looked at. When people be like, oh yeah, Missy's people like, oh, Missy's one of my top 10 MCs. And I'm like, never thought about her as an MC before. But yeah. Eddie, what about you? R&B or hip hop when you think of Timbo?
Yeah, probably more R&B just because, he had the Missy stuff and, Timbaland and Magoo and then, he's done stuff with Jay-Z and everything. But then, he always had the Genuine. He had Aaliyah, then he had Justin, and he had Tweet. I think, that was more Missy producer for Tweet, right? Or
well, not Timbaland.
Was that Tim? That was both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would lean more on R&B, especially in the latter part of his career. I think early on he was doing more hip hop stuff, and now it's kind of like, you know, his bag is R&B. You know,
although he does have a bang on J. Cole's latest album, The Off Season. He has a bang on there.
What joint is that?
The second one, Amari, I think the name.
Okay.
He did that one. I think it's the second joint on the album. The one right after the Cam joint.
All right, no doubt. Come to think about it, what hip hop has Timbo done outside of Jay-Z?
This is the question.
The Locks. He did the Locks. He
did a joint for the Locks.
He did a joint for the Locks. He's done.
See, you can name more pop
like
songs
Ludacris.
that he's done than hip hop songs that he's done.
Yeah, he did Luda. Yeah,
Ludacris.
He did. I don't know. I guess maybe that's the reason why I think of R&B first, because I think you really. I don't think we've named anything that was hip hop. So I think I named Hey Poppy. I know JP, you named Ride or Die Bitch for the Locks, but I think everything else.
I named Lil Kim and Mr. Cheeks, but
oh yeah,
right.
Fab
and Fab and Neo,
Fab,
but that's R&B.
Right.
That's another beat that I would have never thought was Timbo. That's another beat.
Me too.
I was like, Timbo did that? I was like, what? That beat was crazy.
Let me say
it felt like Wu-Tang. It felt like a Wu-Tang beat almost. It had that sound.
Let me segue into this before we go to the next question.
JP.
What do you guys feel, especially you, JP? I'm coming to you first because you're a producer. So I was talking with somebody on the timeline today, and I was like, look, bro, not to, no disrespect, like, you're, what do they call those people? Eddie, when you're not in the military, you're a civilian. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, producers speak a certain language, MCs speak a certain language, and so I'm like, bro, you a civilian. No disrespect, but nigga, you wouldn't know what truncate or quantize or none of this shit that I'm talking about, even remotely me. What do you think, like, for instance, when a producer like Timbaland, because one thing I want to talk about is his longevity. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what do you think of these big producers like Dre, Timbaland, producers that are at that level, when they bring in help, when you bring in a Danger? Because I'll never forget, the first time I heard Promiscuous from Nelly Furtado, I saw the video, another Frozen in Time moment. I was like, this shit is fucking crazy. This shit is fucking crazy. The 80s steps, I was like, yo, I've never fucked with Nelly Furtado. Now I gotta buy a Nelly Furtado album, but then I start to see, co-produced by Danger, which is good because it's not like a ghost production. It's not like nobody knows Danger's name.
Oh, right.
But what do you feel as a producer? What is your thought process on a person bringing in help? Do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, because we know Timbaland can and does get on the machines and stuff like that, but then there's a side of producing that is not about being on the machines, but putting the entire song together and bringing in session musicians or whatever to create the entire project. So he might bring Danger because Danger may have some hot. I'm sure that's why he brought Danger in, because Danger probably reminded him of himself. And this is the new hot. I'm gonna bring him under me. I'm gonna guide him. He made these 5 beats. Oh, take that out. I don't put that in. He might have made the beat, but Timbaland probably put his input and made the song that much better. So I see it it's been happening forever. So I don't see a big deal with it. I only see a problem when the producers don't get their credit. That's the only thing. If you get your credit, it's fine. Like, you're supposed to. That's that path. You come up under a super producer. I mean, I hope one day that Danger, because Danger, as long as he's been working with Timbaland, he's still not looked on the level of Timbaland. Like, I want to see more of Danger on his own, because Danger is nice. Like, he is nice. So I would like to see him more of he should have more of a name. We should know who he is more. But most producers, we have to realize it's an anomaly, the Timbalands, the Swizzes, and to know who producers are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even great producers who got plaques and plaques, we don't know who they are most of the time. Those are the Timbalands of the anomaly. So we probably won't. Danger will never be as big or a notable name like Timbaland. But I think I have no problem with the younger producers coming up under other producers.
And it's weird because I struggle with the the difference between maybe hip hop and R&B, because I feel like, you know, one thing I've always given Timbaland credit for is being able to change his style. You know what I mean? Like Timbaland, after a while, stopped doing the 1 in a million drums and everything like that, and he went on to something else. I think for me, it kind of makes me feel some kind of way, because it's like, you know, I'm used to Pete, who's been making beats since I was in 11th grade with the Creator. Now I'm 47, and Pete is still doing it dolo. You know what I mean? Like Pete hasn't had to find a young producer to kind of like come in and help me along. It's like, nah, nigga, I kind of got this. You know what I mean? But I know that can also be my closed-mindedness, because I have never made a beat with anybody. In 20 odd years of making beats, I do not go to the studio with people. I do it myself. I'm very mindful of that. But now tell me this, when you do, and I don't want to get too, everybody just hold tight for me for a second. Don't lose sight of Timbaland. But when you do it, how does that work? How do you work? Because I want to know, like, is it like, you know, I bring the drums and you bring the sample, or we kind of collab together? Do you sell it as a produced by a group name? Is it co-produced, or is it produced? Because one thing I have learned about the game is that Danger could have done all those beats for the 2020 series, and it's gonna say produced by Timbo. You know what I mean? Just for the simple fact that the name sells. The name is going to sell. You know, it's gonna look much better for Still Dre, Dr. Dre's first single, Back from the Chronic, to be produced by Dr. Dre and not produced by Scott Storch, because it would have been, well, who's Scott Storch? It could have been the same beat, same rhyme, same video, but when a fan sees produced by Scott Storch, it's gonna be like, well, who is that? Or even how Kanye was saying he didn't do Down and Out, but that's because at the time it was like Ye was the biggest producer. He's on the hook. What's going to help sell this record for Cam more, saying some no-name producer did it or Kanye West did it? So when you collab with producers, how does the production credit go? Is it produced by J-Pass in the person? Is it how do you work that out? I'm interested. I
mean, for many years I had a team member. Like it was two of us as a production team, and then a couple years ago I did a co-produced album with Jay Bishop. You know Jay Bishop from Detroit. For me, it's times where, like when I was with my other partner, my old partner, we would make beats individually, but then I'd start something, I'd be like, yo, I started something, I can't finish it. Let me see if you can add something, and I give him the rest of it. So if he add keys or he had a sample or whatever. So, and then there are times where we actually do something together. I might start the drums and he start the keys, or vice versa, or he'll send me a beat and I'll add something to it. So when I did the co-production album with Jay Bishop, that's how we did it. I started something, I would send it to him and he would send me something back, or vice versa. And we just added till we felt like it was finished. And that's it. That's usually how it goes. That's how my experience is.
And your thing would be more so like produced by the track masters, like you and your partner.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And see, I think that's a dope way, because it's everybody's getting their credit. Everybody's getting their name, because the situation is, even with the co-production, the hard part about that is technically your name is there, but nobody's really reading the liner notes to see co-produced by. You know what I mean? Versus when it's produced by Tone and Poke. Like everybody knew who the track master was, because it was Tone and Poke. So everybody's getting their equal footing. And I think that's dope. I just think it's harder, because then what happens is you have a Danger and you're thinking about Future Sex Love Sounds. I mean, that had to be what, 2005, maybe?
2006.
2006. We're in 2021 and Danger has still never gotten his head above water, because it's kind of just like, it's then hard to go out and say, hey y'all, everybody, I really did produce, the whole Justin album, but people gonna be like, no, you didn't. Timbaland did. That's one of the reasons why Dilla stopped fucking with Tip and the Uma, because everything that said produced by the Uma, everybody assumed was produced by Q-Tip, and Dilla was like, nah, nigga, that's me. That's why he left the Uma and he started Pay J Productions, because it was like, nah, niggas, y'all got it fucked up. Tip ain't doing these beats. This shit is all me. And that's why he left the Uma. So I think that's my only kind of beef with it. Like you said, it's what happens, but it's just sad, because I think some of those producers who come up under you never really actually get their name out there. We were talking about Dre earlier. Mailman was a huge piece of that whole 2001 thing about it, and you talk to the average person, nobody knows who the hell Mailman is.
Of course not.
And I think that's the sad part, that yes, technically their name aren't in the credits, but as long as, you know, like Scott Storch said, he was like, I did, you know, Still Dre, or, you know, on Bilal's Fast Life. Even when it says at the end, it says, this is a Dr. Dre production. Scott Storch like, nigga, I did that whole beat. Like, right. You know what I mean? So it's just hard like that. But, and again, this is, I'm not taking anything away from Timbaland. I mean, this is what happens, but I just, you know, wanted to have that conversation of like, how does everyone feel? Or like, after you hearing this conversation, does this make you feel any different, Porsche, about Timbaland? Does this make you feel any different because of, you know, he has help now? Porsche?
No, not really. And that's just because, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to the rankings, but like, I don't really, Timbaland's sort of like, I don't really rank him anywhere. He's just one of those producers that just produces dope bangers. I don't know where I would rank him. And so for me, it doesn't really matter if he's just the brand, like the name that slaps on the covers so that it sells, and really all of the, he's never even been inside the studio. Like that, to me, that doesn't really make a difference. But that's just me, because I don't, like, if he was in my top 3, like if I found out, for example, like that this was a conversation about Primo, like I think I would have like some sort of cardiac arrest situation here. But with Timbaland, I'm like, cool. I mean, he still has these bangers. Like if his name's associated with it, I'm sure they squared it away behind the scenes and he's good to go. He did something, whether that's the marketing or whatever, I'm good with it. It matters none when it comes to Timbaland for me.
All right, JR, what about you?
I was gonna say include, because it's been happening forever though, like with teams like that forever. Because I remember, I
mean, it's true, but a lot of bad shit has been happening.
Oh yeah, I'm about to mess y'all up right now. I was talking to well, y'all saw Brian Alexander Morgan that came on our show a couple times. Yeah. And he said that when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis heard "I'm So Into You" by SWV, he said that Jimmy Jam called and Terry Lewis got their team together and said, we need to do some ish for Janet like that. Because he was like, music is changing now. We can't give Janet that same Rhythm Nation type of vibe and all that. Like, we need something. And when he told me that, I said, wait, his team? They team? I was like, hold up. I thought it was only Jam, Lewis, and you know, that was it. And he was like, no, Jimmy Jam told me he got his team and his writers together and was like, listen, y'all, we got to come up with some, like, we got to come up with some stuff. And I was like,
good brother, you have fucked my head up tonight.
Yo, I swear, like,
it was just Jam and Lewis. I thought,
and that fucked me up. To be honest, now, did Jimmy might have, did him and did Terry probably write the lyrics? Yeah. Did Janet help with the melody? Yeah. But they had a team that got together to do That's the Way Love Goes. And I said, at first I was looking at Brian like, you full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, no, I don't believe you right now. He was like, yo, Jimmy Jam told me that when he heard I'm So Into You, he got his team together and was like, y'all, we need to do something different. So,
I have a question. So, was it always a team, or was there ever a time it was just Jam and Lewis?
Now that I look now, I think that when
don't tell me it was a team with all the Alexander O'Neal and Sherelle stuff and SOS Band. That's what you telling me? Was there a team with that stuff? I'm asking you.
No. I'd have been hurt, JP. No, please.
Okay, I'm just curious. I'm just asking. I just need clarification.
But you gotta understand that they don't know hip hop like that either. So that's why I was like, it made sense, because I was right. So that's the way Love Goes. It has that hip hop flair in there. Right. They didn't know about that. Like he said when he did when they did Got Till It's Gone.
Wait, time out. Flag on the play. You said That's the Way Love Goes, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's my only kickback with that. That shit is not that difficult. They looped and impeached the president and then took fucking James Brown, Papa Don't Take No Mess, which is the Vapors. Nigga, Naomi could do that.
But you come from that. You come from that. That's where you come from. They don't come from that.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis don't come from that.
That's your entry point in music where you started making it.
So but what I'm saying is, it's a breakbeat that we all know. Not just
but they wasn't using breakbeats like that though.
Who hasn't heard the Vapors to say they did Rhythm Nation is fucking a sample. So
right.
Rhythm Nation, so like they've been sampling since Rhythm Nation.
Right.
But
so,
they wasn't sampling the way they would break it. The way they broke That's the Way Love Goes Up. And you can tell it's completely different on the way they were doing with Rhythm Nation and Control.
Yeah, those are different. The sampling is different. It's
very different. And they don't come from that. Because Kill, like for instance, you gonna tell me when now everybody thought that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did Got Till It's Gone. We all know Dilla did.
You can pause right there. No, the fuck I didn't. The second I heard that, I was like, that's Dilla. That's Dilla.
Oh, I didn't think that either.
Long.
I didn't think
that's
that.
Dilla. And then when Q-Tip was on it too, I was like,
I thought it was Q-Tip. Or maybe possibly had some influence. But
that's what I thought. But then Jimmy Jam said he was so inspired by Dilla, he wanted to cut it like that. That's why I started going, wait a minute now.
And see, that's why they gave Dilla the remix. The same way Puffy jacked Juicy from Pete and then turned around and gave Pete the Juicy remix. That's just industry bullshit. That's like, I'm gonna steal your song and I'm gonna give you the B-side as a, as a good pound, a good faith type thing. Like, I knew that was Dilla. You know what I mean? But neither here nor there.
It makes my blood pressure rise. Let's never talk about Puff Daddy ever.
Yes, that's why I was like, let's get off of this.
Right.
Once you brought him up, I don't want to hear him no more.
Would you say, JP?
I said I love Puff. He's necessary. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ, he's necessary for
It's a whole nother episode.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, JP.
I would love to argue with Porsche. I would love to argue.
Me and JP are going to start our own podcast.
We can do this.
Listen, we're going to start. Me and JP are going to start a podcast about how RZA and Timbaland are similar, and also how JP on this episode said it's kind of like the RZA and Wu-Tang Clan, and that's still stuck in my head.
The sound of that, yeah. I mean, yeah,
it's rugged.
Absolutely.
I see what he's saying. It's rugged.
Yeah,
I
get it.
And the reason why that spawned me into this conversation was the question of, did Timbaland do? You know what I mean? Like, there are some songs that are just so far out there that, and again, we're talking about the R&B world. Like, this is that's very different than the hip hop world. Like, in the hip hop world, that would be very bad for Pete Rock to say, hey, I got a young boy producer, my man Eddie from LA, he kind of helps me out from time to time. Like, that would be looked down upon in hip hop, whereas in R&B, that's the way it is.
Because I mean,
and anybody watching, this wasn't a knock on Timbaland while we're trying to big him up. Just saying that, there is that, just letting people know that they have people in pocket with them to maybe help them transform their sound, because, and things like that. So it's no knock on Tim, no knock on nobody. Just I
think JP's explanation of how he co-produces with, like Jay Bishop, for example, that whole example he used was a really good sort of for somebody who's not a producer like me to understand how co-production works at any point. So I really appreciate that, JP. Thank you for sharing that.
And that's why I asked him, because he does it, because it seems like it's actually a team. So if it, and again, it is given a credit, but I would love to see produced by Timbaland in Danger instead of being produced by Timbaland, co-produced by someone else. I was in a situation with a well-known producer, and it was going to be produced by, I did the bulk of the track. This person helped with it, which I felt the track was done. I felt like it should have been produced by me, co-produced by him. But of course, he's the bigger name. I knew I was going to get shifted to the co-produced. And I know now more than ever, nobody gives a fuck about a co-producer. If you get your shit on Two Dope Boys, it ain't going to say produced by Timbaland, co-produced by Kill. I knew my name was going to be lost forever with that co-production credit. And so that's why I love what JP said. It's a Tone and Poke situation. Nobody ever was like, oh, Tone does all the beats for the track masters. No, they were always known as there were two producers. When they took promo covers, there was two people in these pictures. You knew the track masters. So I would love it if more producers did say, hey, even if your name comes first, of course, produced by Timbaland and then produced by Fill in the Bank or whatever like that. And again, I have no idea. I'm just talking mixed off the tray.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
So, sorry.
No, go ahead, Eddie.
I was gonna say, like, I'd be curious, like, because we all know what Timbaland sounded prior to that, right? And so there's certain songs on like Future Sex Love Sound in 2020 that you could tell like Timbaland's signature. And I'm just curious like what Danger's signature might be. So like,
I think a lot of his was the 80 cents. That 80 cents that you hear throughout Future Sex Love Sound. Like it's a very I love the name of the album because it sounds like very futuristic at the time. Like there was nothing that really sounded like that. So what may have happened is somebody he comes across a CD and it's like, man, this shit sounds crazy. I like this sound. Like, yo, call him and bring him in and let's start working with them like that. So because when I like JP, I haven't heard it in a long time, but I didn't hear a lot. By that time, he was kind of the whole stutter drums, the whole Timbaland sound that we knew was kind of gone. And I felt like Timbaland understood that since everybody bid it, if I keep doing it, it's not, I'm not going to be able, it's almost like with Das when everybody was iggity. And it was like, okay, we got to get away from that because so many people are doing it now that it's not like, I'm not going to have the longevity I want, nor that I deserve if I just keep making beats like this. And as a producer, that may be the only way you know how to make beats. I know nobody's supposed to say it. Primo sounds stale to me now in 2021. He sounds to me like he's still stuck in 1996 with the same drum program and the same type drums. It just feels like he's not moving forward. And that could be an example of why you would need to bring a younger producer in to kind of give you a push, to kind of give you some oomph.
And that's what I was doing.
And again, this is no disrespect to Primo. This dude is my 1A, but I'm not cut like that to be like, oh, I like Primo. I can't tell you how I really feel. I feel like, whereas with a Pete Rock, I feel like that nigga's still off to the races. Pete still be fucking up my head with shit just left and right. So, what were you gonna say, JR?
I would say I think Danger kind of helped Timbaland get into that mainstream arena to me, because I felt like Timbaland, to be honest, when he worked with everybody like the Aaliyah, the this, the that, it was like it had that kind of soulful type of sound to me.
That's a good point, I felt like all these pop people came after Danger.
And like Nelly Furtado, and then when he started doing stuff for and Justin and all them, it was like I think Danger brought a newness to Timbaland to me that he didn't have, and he wouldn't have been able to cross over without Danger, in my opinion. Not taking anything away from Tim, but I think Timbaland would have just been giving us, because look at Aphrodisiac. If you listen to Aphrodisiac, right, and you listen to that, but then Danger ain't on there at all. But then you listen to Future Sex, which is a year later, and it's like, whoa, this production is completely different here. Like, something is new in here. Because the Aphrodisiac, I can hear Aaliyah on all them records. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
one of the records was the joint he played for Jay in the Fade to Black documentary when he was playing beats for Jay, and he played one of the beats he played made Brandy's album. Is on Aphrodisiac.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like he was able to do that, but I think he needed something new to get him over.
And again, so for people watching, we're not saying Timbaland doesn't make beats. We all know he makes beats. We all know he was. We're talking about the phase, the second phase. When I heard Promiscuous, I was like, again, it reminded me of Dilla, because when everybody was doing the JD neo soul, drums and bass lines, I felt like when he became Dilla, that shit went to the side and it was a whole new type of thing. Like the JD could not have been making beats for Ghostface and those dudes. He was making them for them Howard University niggas over there with Incense. Like, he was the neo soul dude. But when Dilla came out and you listen to 10 Bricks on Ray's Only Built for Cuban Links, and you listen to the first thing, I forgot what it was, off of Built for Cuban Links 2, like, that was a whole new thing. And when I heard Promiscuous, I was like, this nigga is like him and Jay Dilla just here, because it's like, yo, you want that shit, keep it. I'm gonna come over here and do this. But like JR said, maybe you just needed help to take your stuff to another level, or to kind of find down versus a hip hop producer who may just be like. And again, I think it's just like how you were raised. Like, I couldn't have another producer come in to kind of change my whole sound for me. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not saying anything wrong with anybody who does. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so, I don't want people digging for me. People have been like, yo, try to find something on this album. I'm like, nah, my nigga, I dig for myself. And again, just the way I was raised. I tell people, I'm not saying my way's right or your way's wrong. Nobody's right or wrong. Right. It's just the way that I am. What were you gonna say, Eddie?
I was gonna say, like, and this is just speculation, but you know, I would imagine that when Tim bringing someone in, right, probably started with, all right, Timbaland was working on something. He probably brings him in and like, all right, this is missing something. Maybe like sends it to Danger, like, all right, you know, what can we do to kind of, you know, spice this up, right, for lack of a better term, right? So it's probably some of that, and I kind of feel like maybe the longer they were working together, it probably became Danger bringing stuff to Timbaland, right? He was working on bringing it to Timbaland, and now Timbaland, you know what I mean? Because I imagine like they're going to build a trust together and a kind of working relationship. And, you know, I know that's not what the fans want to hear, right? You know, fans want black and white, you know, like produced by this, you know, if it has someone's name, we want to know. But in reality,
I think we
like,
just want it black and white if that's your name. If you tell me, if you say, Kill, I just wrote a book, I'm gonna believe Eddie wrote the book. I'm not gonna think Jazz wrote the book and put Eddie's name on it. So I don't know if fans want black and white. I think we just want. That's why I was just saying they could say produced by Timbaland and Danger, produced by Dr. Dre and Mel. Like you guys did it together. But I also understand that at this point, like Porsche said earlier, it's like your Pepsi. Like it's like that skit from American Gangster. Like, you know, they know me like they know my name. So it's like it's a brand now. So Timbaland probably is the brand because it's a brand.
Right. And the other thing is, right, you know, Justin's on a label. So if the label is, you know, got the budget and saying Timbaland's gonna produce Justin's album, you know, they're not gonna have Danger's name on it, you know, so at least Timbaland putting, you know, the co-production credit, right? He's giving him credit, but, you know, it's also about promoting the album as well, kind of like what you were saying, but also, you know, that's what the label wants, you know.
I think it's just hard because so many of these producers like a Danger never get to come out, you know, so it'd be different if, like JP said, now Danger's name, you know, not saying he's Timbaland, but he's a house, like people know who he is, where the average person doesn't. So let's go to this. GOAT. Where does Timbo fall on your producer GOAT list? If you put him in R&B, I probably got to have Timbo. And when I say R&B, because R&B, JR sitting here, this goes back to the 50s. My R&B usually starts with like the 90s. You know what I mean? So from 90 to now, because I'm not going to hold y'all. I don't know a lot of the producers from the 80s. You know, I listen to the music. You know, I can't tell you just offhand who produced Anita Baker Rapture. I can't. Right. You know, I'm not even going to sit here and hold you and act like I can. So I'm going to start, mine starts in the 90s. And if we're talking about from 90 to now, then in R&B, then Timbaland is definitely a top 5 producer. I don't know where he is in there, but he's a top 5 producer for me. If we're talking, I can't talk hip hop because he doesn't have enough hip hop for me. You know what I mean? But if we're putting him in the R&B, then he's definitely somewhere in the top 5. It may be top 3. I don't know, but it's definitely top 5. Porsche, I know you said you don't have him anywhere. He's just an entity.
Like Timbaland is just, I'm neutral with Timbaland. Like, do I think he's a powerhouse producer? Absolutely. Do I think he has the longevity? Does he have the bangers? Does he show his range? 100%. That's undeniable. But when it comes to like where I rank him, because when I rank a producer, that means they hold like I have an attachment to them in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, with Timbo, as much as I think he's fantastic, I care more about Timbaland's like entrepreneurial ventures than I do his musical ventures, if that makes sense. Like, that's just me. I know. I'm sorry.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I know. Like,
we've been having this thing all show, so I had to do it. I had to keep it consistent.
JP, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. You're amazing. So for me, I don't rank him. I'm just very neutral when it comes to Timbo.
I get it. Right.
I feel JR. What about you? Do you rate him R&B? Let me know where your R&B range is, because I know with you, your ass to go back to.
I do. Is Timbaland in my top 10? No.
Okay, right.
He's not in my top 10 at all. But I like how you said it.
And that's because yours goes all the way back. What is your starting?
1941.
Right.
That's where JR's R&B starts. 1941.
No!
When did your R&B list start? Let's try starting there. Because somebody watches like Timbaland ain't in your top 10, but I'm like, if his list starts in 1958 and it's 2021, then that makes perfect sense. So
yeah, mine actually starts in 1961.
1958. So 1961.
Okay, that's before I was born. Do you see what I'm saying? He was in every studio session.
But I like how Kill You broke it down. How he came out. If you want to start from 90s to now, absolutely, he would absolutely be in like the top with R&B period. He would definitely be in the top 5 for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because again, he had a lot of moments where he just stopped. You stop. Like y'all said, with the 1 in a million, he made you stop. Are You That Somebody? He made you stop. Like he did things to make you stop, and it changed the culture. You know what I mean? And then once he got with Nelly Furtado and Justin Timberlake, then that started, people wanted that sound in R&B after a while. Then he started working with the Rihannas and Chris and this, and it was just like he changed. So it was like, if you want to say from 90s to now, he's definitely top 5 for sure. He would be on that Mount Rushmore for sure.
All right, JP, what about you?
If I had to make a top 10 list, I think I've never done it, and I probably never will because that shit is too difficult. But I would think that Timbaland would absolutely be in it.
Okay.
For the simple fact, like I stated earlier, there's some producers that come in the game and make great music and make their mark, but then there's certain producers that change the game. Like he is one of those that changed the game. And for that alone, you should be in my top 10. For nothing else. Like when you told me about the topic, and I was thinking of the ones that automatically come to my head, I was writing them down or whatever, and then I was doing more research, and I was like, damn, we got so many. Like it's really crazy. So, and talent-wise, as a producer, like his sound selection and things like that is incredible. His ear is incredible. So, like he would definitely be in my top 10. Now I'm saying that without actually trying to go name for name, like but I would say I had a confidence that he would be in the top 10.
Now, where would you start your top 10 at for R&B?
Probably the 60s.
Okay, 60s. All right, cool. Eddie, what about you?
Yeah, I think when I rank like musicians or producers, whatever, like I think it's only fair to stick to eras. So I like what you said, Kill, about starting in the 90s.
And again, the only reason why I said the 90s was because I don't like, I just found out about the Funk Brothers probably 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I don't know enough of the producers from, so that's why I'm just saying the 90s is why I started paying attention with Mary J. So that's why mine starts for the 90s. Because I feel like,
because I think,
I have Robinson Robinson play. So I can't sit here and tell you, like my top stuff with basketball starts when I really started paying attention, which was like 86. So, so that's the only reason why mine starts in the 90s.
Because the thing is, it's kind of weird to say, because yes, Timbaland, we know him more for his R&B, but as far as a style of a producer, right? As far as like his techniques, right? It comes from the hip hop tree. His production comes from the hip hop tree, right? The sampling and the break beats and all that, right? Even his unique way of beatboxing and all that stuff on his early stuff, right? So it is from that hip hop tree. He does more R&B production that's notable. So I'd say I'd have to put him in that category, and definitely top 10, possibly top 5. I mean, I gotta think about it, but I just think he's one of the producers, like definitely innovative. And I remember first time hearing him just being like, damn, like certain production here, like this just sounds futuristic. But he's done that many times. Like he's had many beats that I had to stop and be like, damn, I ain't never heard no shit like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, another good point with Tim is the Indian samples. I want to say like he's one of the first person I heard who was using like Indian music to sample. Like, you know what I mean? Like the whatever this the two he did Cry Me a River and something else on Justin's first album, and that the other one outside of Cry Me a River had this Indian sample. Like
Take Me Now.
Right. And then JP, if you remember, that's around the time then Just Blaze started using Indian samples with the React with Eric Sermon. And you know what I mean? So that's something else that he brought to the game, because I don't remember anybody using Indian music samples and stuff like that.
I think he got like kind of knocked for using that too. Didn't he? Wasn't there some sort of like court case around that, and he settled outside of court because
wasn't that quick?
I thought that was quick with the Truth Hurts joint.
With the Truth Hurts joint. I think
okay, yeah, maybe I'm mixing it all up. Okay.
Yeah, that's with the Truth Hurts joint. But I mean, Timbaland's
Hurts joint didn't come first.
Huh?
The Truth Hurts joint didn't come first.
I don't think so.
It did.
Give me the line. It did.
It did. It did.
Timbo had like a
Quick
few.
wasn't known for using that consistently. That was like, you know.
But Timbo's had like a few situations with
exactly.
So I don't know. So a little bit touch and go with that. But
all right. So what would you guys say is Tim's legacy in the game? Like when I think of Tim's legacy, I think of his influence. I think of how, you know, how many people bit his style, myself included, has changed his style. And more importantly to me, just his drums. You know, if anybody knows me, I've always been bring the drums back to hip hop. We need drums. I can't stand this drumless shit. It was cool for a while. Now it's out of hand. So just the fact that he had Timbaland's drums just have always been crazy to me. So like I said, from the CeeLo joint, like when you turn that shit up, the drums just knock, whether it's a 1 in a million drums, whether it's Kanye bringing in Timbo to do the drums for, what was it, Stronger, you know, because he couldn't get his drums right, and he came in to do that. So to me, he's like one of the drum gods to me. So I guess if I had to just pick one thing, it would probably just be drum gods, because his drums just always bang. Like if that's one thing I can depend on Timbaland for, is something with some banging drums. Porsche, what do you think Timbo's legacy is for you?
For me, it's his innovation. I think there's definitely a list for Timbo out there. He's not on my like top 10 producers list, but when it comes to like music industry entrepreneurs, businessmen, Timbo's definitely on like a top 5 for me. And that's like really, I think his innovation started with the production, but even as you can see, like he was able to partner with Swiss and do this Versus thing, and this Versus thing is like a global phenomenon now, you know, on Instagram. Like it's crazy. So Timbo for me is just innovation. Like he's kind of like a step ahead when it comes to the music industry in general. So he knows, like, even when you guys were talking about like the use of particular sounds that were not used before, Timbo used them, and then everyone sort of like follows suit. It's the same thing sort of with now in 2021. He's like, okay, how can I, you know, get ahead of what's going on in 2021? And lo and behold, he partners with Swiss, and there goes Versus. So for me, it's Timbo's innovation. I think he's brilliant with it. He definitely understands what a need is, and he fills that need very well. So I salute him for that.
All right, Gerald, what about you? What's his legacy for you?
I agree with Porsche. I just think I feel like Timbaland can adapt to anything that goes on right now. So like we were saying, like how he came out in basically 96, right? And then he was able to kind of stay equal with the sound, I would guess. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like sometimes producers get stagnant, like you said, Kill. You feel like Primo is like, his sounds is still the same. It's nothing innovative about it. It's just the same.
I'm sorry. It just is what it is. I mean,
I'm sorry.
I'm with you, Porsche. I'm with you, Porsche, on this one.
Thank you, JP. We gotta do a show about this. We gotta do a show about this.
Yeah, because I'm bugged out about this.
You don't think Primo sounds stuck?
I have no problem with how Primo sounds.
I don't either.
We should have a show about artists that are stuck inside of their ways. And are they actually stuck or what? Yeah, their comfort zone.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Maybe edit this part out. 138. I'll write it down. People are always
No, somebody else will try to buy it. So
they will. 138 kills.
I think just he know how to, reintroduce himself and be current with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once he got with, Nelly Furtado and them and Justin and all that, he became the man again. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, he just kept doing that over and over. So I think he can reinvent himself. And like Portia said, he's doing this whole versus thing. So he's staying out there with the younger generation once again. You know what I mean? Even though the versus is playing his older music, you know what I'm saying? But he's still able, these kids is like, oh, that's Timbaland. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of our producers in the 90s, they like, who? And what? And where? You know what I'm saying? Because like that whole Teddy Riley and Babyface thing. We might have loved it, but these kids probably was like, well, who was that? Not knowing it, it's like, wait.
I just want to make sure that this younger generation does their homework. Because I always tell people, my teens, when they think of Eddie Murphy, they think of Donkey and Shrek. You know what I mean? When they think of Ice Cube, they think of Are We There Yet? So I want Timbaland to still be known for his music and not for it to be like, oh, Timbaland, he's the versus guy. Like, well, he is, but there's some other shit he's done too along the way.
But I just think he know how to reinvent himself musically, and I think he's dope with that. That's why, again, when you said how you broke it down from the 90s to the now, would he be on the GOAT list? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Right. So, yeah.
All right. What about you, JP? What do you feel like his legacy is to the game?
I mean, I think, like Porsche said, like, he's always been the innovation guy. Like, when we first started paying attention to him, it was not because he was just a good producer, but it was a sound we had never heard before. And he changed the game. So, and like you said, 96 is when we kind of knew who he was. He produced him before that, but that was 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And he's pretty much been, like, I'm sure there are low periods, but overall, if you think about it, he's been pretty consistent.
Right.
Yeah. Like JR said, some producers are like, yo, they not around or whatever, and that is something to be said about that. Like, and not just like he's still making music that's relevant, and people, and I'm sure other producers are coming to him because they still see him as an innovator, and he accepts people around. So I think his legacy will be that producer who was always constantly trying to innovate and push, push the needle forward as far as music is concerned. So
don't. One thing before I forget, because I will. I think one of the things that he was able to do that not too many people have been able to do is when Aaliyah was messing with Candyman. Like, Candyman was the biggest producer on the planet at the time. So for her to leave him, it was this, where's she gonna go? Because normally when that happens, 99.9% time when that happens, shit falls down. Like, Tony leaves Babyface, it falls down. It's always those questions like, why would you leave? Like, why would you? When Janet left Jimmy Jam, and it's like it goes downhill. So for Aaliyah to leave Candyman and then go to virtually two unknowns and Timbaland and Missy, and be able to come up with this sound, that says a lot to me right there, because most times you're not gonna get that. Most times, once that person leaves that A-list producer like Candyman to go with two unknowns, which I think should happen more, because the two unknowns have to, they're like, this is my shot. This is it.
Right.
You are going to get every best song. JP, as a producer, I'm sure he will tell you, I know me, I have files. I have these beats that I'm like, if I could ever get to Jay-Z, then I got some B beats. If I could ever get to such and such. So you are going to throw your A beats. Yeah. And I think it's one of the reasons I've always said American Gangster is one of my favorite Jay-Z albums, because Sean C and LV were two hungry-ass producers. Yes. This wasn't going to be no Kanye like, hey, you want to stop working? Let's go to Fashion Week. It's going to be like, no, this is our shot, nigga. Like, we have to put our best beats on this Jay album so we can get a name. And I think that that's probably why more people should get with hungry producers when you decide to change, because they're hungry. Going from Jimmy Jam to Jermaine Dupri, I don't know if Jermaine Dupri is hungry to work with Janet Jackson. You know what I mean? I don't know. Right. So I also think that that's a huge thing that Timbaland and Missy were able to do, because Aaliyah was a fucking star. Yeah. You know what I mean? Off the first album. And again, to leave Candyman at that time looked like insanity. It's like, yo, how you can't leave it. What are you gonna do now with your career? And to see where
Right.
To me, she got even doper after.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, she became more of an icon after that. You know, so just another huge testament to Timbaland. Eddie, what about you? What do you feel like his legacy is?
Yeah, man, I agree with everyone about the innovation and just kind of doing things his own way, you know, outside the lines. Like his approach, like I said about, you know, crafting his beats around like his beatboxing and playing around or just banging on the thing. Like if you've seen like, you know, video or kind of behind the scenes on how and there's stuff out there, you know, it's just really organic, you know. So, you know, I love it. You know, I love the stuff he comes up with. And like I said, you know, first time I heard it, I thought it sounded really dope, futuristic. So yeah, definitely that's his legacy.
All right. No doubt. Question. So if we're talking about producers, give me 5 more minutes of your time. Just was on the timeline, like to bring things to fruition in real time. Again, JP, I'm just starting with you because of the producer. I've always seen this, and after a while it starts to bother me, and I think it's hate, and I never use the word hate. But what do you feel like about when people say that Daz, Porsche, you started this shit. You actually started this. You started this whole conversation. Look how weird start. Well, you started it. Porsche retweet something where the person is saying it's a picture of Dre and Daz, and it says
it was Porsche. That's right.
Yeah, it was. And she's in the cup right now, chilling. Now her face is getting red because I forgot it was her. But it says, here's a picture of Dr. Dre and the producer of The Crime, talking about Corrupt did. And you know, I respond to Porsche like, I mean,
was it Daz?
I've never.
It was Daz.
It was Daz.
It was a picture of Dre and Daz. It was like, here's a picture of Dr. Dre and the producer of The Crime.
Wow.
And
terrible.
I've never subscribed to that way of thinking. Mainly because for a couple of reasons. One, I've always heard that this is why I'm saying I think it's got to be hate after a while. Because number one, I'm like, DOC's album is a 5-mic album. That production was incredible. NWA Straight Outta Compton, incredibly produced album. Eazy-E's debut album, incredibly produced album. Niggas for Life is my actually favorite fucking Dr. Dre produced album.
Incredible.
I mean, but I'm going before Chronic. So what I'm trying to lead up to
you're leading up to Chronic.
I see what killed on. Okay.
It was a Daz around. Right. This was making 5-mic classic albums. This man made Deep Cover. This man made Deep Cover that still bangs just as hard today as it did 25 years ago. And I tell people, I just find it hard to believe that somebody going from making 5-mic music needed help to go on and make more 5-mic music.
Right.
The reason I say it's hate is because then I've heard people say, oh, well, Yella was the one who was really doing those beats back then. And I'm like, well, why the fuck wasn't nobody getting at Yella then? Because if Dre and if everybody in the crew and everybody in Cali knew it was really Yella, then why wasn't they getting at Yella? And the same thing with Daz. I'm like, okay, it's like, what did Jay say to Dame? Y'all made Jay make another one?
Right.
Okay, Daz, you made Chronic, make another one.
Right.
And it's no knock on Daz's beats. They're good. But nigga, I ain't never heard shit out of Daz's camp that's competing with anything on Chronic or Doggy Style. So again, if you made them, then I should be. It's almost like somebody saying Premier didn't make Daily Operation. Then the nigga turns around, makes Hard to Earn. It's like, I guess you did. Like, it adds up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with Daz, it doesn't add up. Now, I said this, Dre's career is so long that now I think after Doggy Style, he got tired of being sued and he stopped fucking with samples, and then he brought in Sky Storage and he brought in other people. So that's why after 2001, it gets muddy to me. Like, I don't know who did what at that point, but up until that point, I'm just like, okay, again, before there was a Daz, there was a No One Could Do It Better. And Funky Enough, The Formula, The Doc and the Doctor, you were talking about flat out incredible beats. So who was doing those beats? Oh, it was Yella. No, the fuck it was. So, but JP, and that's why I'm like, I think it has to just be hate at this point, because I'm like, damn, y'all have discredited this man throughout his entire career. Like we said about Timbaland, we know Timbaland was making beats by himself. I don't care what happened in the future. We know he can turn on an ASR 10 and make a beat right now. Even with the Jermaine Dupri stuff, I said this. Jermaine Dupri can make a beat. I don't know if Puffy knows how to turn on an MPC.
Right.
I know Jermaine Dupri knows how to at least do that. What do you think about the Daz and just when it's he didn't make Dre didn't make the beat, I made the beat, and what do you think about the Daz situation?
I mean, I've heard it, but like you said, I haven't heard a whole bunch of bangers out of just Daz. You know what I'm saying? That resonate like the other, like the Chronic and all, and Doggy Style and things like that. So, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, even if Daz was making the beats, did he curate the album? You know what I'm saying? Did he make everything? Like, if Daz did 75, 50%, 65% of the beats on there, but Dr. Dre is a producer, like Quincy, who produced Off the Wall and Thriller? Who's the producer? Who's called as a producer?
I thought it was Rod Temperton.
It wasn't Quincy Jones?
It does say.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Quincy Jones.
But we know,
it does say that.
Greg Philganis was on it. Rod Temperton was like.
Temperton was on it. Yes. We had Louis Johnson on it.
Orchestrator. Dr. Dre is the orchestrator. Even if he wasn't on the actual beat for a particular song, I'm sure he orchestrated that thing.
And see, I think this is where we differ. That's cool for me in R&B, not in hip hop, because in hip hop I feel like you got to make your beats. You got to make your shit. Like I'm just not with the mindset of I can bring in 8 different people and not touch the drum machine and be a producer, because the producers, again, the way I was raised, Large Pro was on the drum machine, Pete Rock was on the drum machine, Premier was on the drum machine. So again, it just goes back to the way that I was raised.
But what's the difference with R&B though?
Would you say?
What's the difference with the R&B though? Why?
I think because with R&B, I think it's the whole gambit. I think with hip hop, because it's a culture. So it always comes back to, did you actually do it? Nobody cares if Boyz II Men never wrote one song. Nobody cares if Jodeci never wrote one song.
I got you.
But if Jay-Z pops up tomorrow and says, you know what, y'all, I'm on my deathbed, I never wrote shit. It's probably not a problem no more, because nobody gives a fuck anymore who writes their own shit. But that's my only thing. Like you've got, like, I want to see Dilla on the producer. I don't want to. JP, I don't know if you ever saw the show. If you got Showtime, look it up. It's a Rick Rubin show. And it's about like people in the studio with Rick Rubin. And I swear to God, Rick Rubin doesn't do shit the entire season. Rick Rubin walks around with fucking shoes on in a yoga position, like, hey man, I like that. And then he walks to the other room and I'm like, God damn, all you had to say was you like that? Like, and I guess that's cool, but JP, it changes in time.
I understand your issue.
I
totally get it, but I don't have a problem.
You would not come into EAA studio and see Roots, Shy, and everybody on drum machines, and I'm just sitting there meditating, like, no, change snare, no, twist quantize, no, and then I walk away, and it's like, and you like, who's that? He's like, that's Kill, that's the producer. You be like, but y'all on all the machines. All that nigga said was twist, turn, move. That nigga was I feel like you just a motherfucker spinning the thing on Twister. Red, left foot, red dot. Like, right, green, red. What happened?
But don't you feel like everybody kind of know what the deal is when you get into it?
I mean, here's the thing. When you get into it, and again, there are different cracks.
Y'all been in it.
So, again, if I'm in the studio with a Premier, I'm going to probably bet all the records behind me that Premier is the only person on the MPC. If I get into the studio with the Hitman, with Puffy, it's going to be everybody. You know what I mean? So it depends on which room you walk into.
Right.
I don't think if I go to Pete Rock's basement right there, he's got a team of people like, here are the records I got for you, Pete. Here are the new drum kits I downloaded for you, Pete. And again, I could be 100% wrong. I could be dead ass wrong.
Right.
That I heard.
Maybe I'm still just believing in Santa Claus that Pete is actually like, I sampled this kick and I could be 100% wrong. What you gonna say, Eddie?
What I was gonna say is, like, the easy way to fix that, right, is just put, Dr. Dre is executive producer, but then list the producers who produced all the songs. Like, if Dr. Dre fully produced a song, put that. If Daz produced a song, if anyone else produced a song, put their name. Like, if he's going to be executive producer, like, he has a hand in everything, he's going to be executive, that's fine. But you're not behind, like you said, Kill. He's not behind the MPC or whatever machine.
And again, I feel like that's just for me
the
hip hop. That I agree with you. If you were doing that, then I feel like you were the executive producer in hip hop, not the producer. But again, I know I'm narrow-minded. I'll be the first to admit I'm very narrow-minded in what I think especially when it comes to hip hop, especially when it comes to hip hop production. I just believe if Porsche, your chef, if we all come to your crib for Thanksgiving dinner, Porsche goes down. If y'all don't see her IG and her stuff, like, it's crazy. If we go to Porsche's house and we eat dinner and we all love it, and then a year later I'm like, yo, y'all know I did that shit, right? Y'all be like, yo, we tasted your food, Kill. It's good, but nigga, you did not make that meal. And to me, that's how it is with dads. It's like, nigga, you good, but nigga, you ain't make the crime. Like, come on, man. Like, that dog is good, but nigga, it ain't the Chronic may be one of the greatest. The Chronic and Doggy Style may be two of the biggest hip hop albums ever.
That's big facts.
Dad, we love you. And again, one of the things, JP, I was thinking is that maybe the way Daz explains it is maybe he said, I brought Dre the records. And I know for some people, if you bring the record, then I produce the song. You know what I mean?
Like Big Daddy Kane did with Marley Marl.
Right. You know what I mean? So, and again, all these things in hip hop always are changing because at that time, I do believe, I don't know, JP, shit, what do you think? Do you think in 1988, there are no Pro Tools, there's only 5, 6, 8 niggas in every borough with a studio. So I have to bring you the record. I would think Marley would be like, you know what? Fuck it. Me and you did it. You know what I mean? Because what I also want people to understand out there watching, just because you bring me a record there have been so many times that I've heard a sample and I think it's going to sound great coming out the MPC and it doesn't. You know what I mean? Or I have to kind of work around it to construct it. So it's not just as easy as I brought you the record, now I'm the producer. You know what I mean? Diamond, again, because we're all raised different, Diamond would give co-production credit, not money. Let me be clear on that, not money, but he would put, so if you look at Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop and it says co-produced by somebody, that means they brought him the record. But again, that's the way Diamond was raised, okay? Right. I heard Large Professor brought Pete the Honeysuckle Breeze for Troy. Large Professor ain't get co-production credit. So again, it's again, I'm never
how they do it,
my way is right, your way, we're all just raised differently. You know what I mean? So again, Diamond was, I'm gonna give you co-production credit because if you give me the record, like, nigga, that's half the battle right there because 90% of hip hop is just loops. So if you find a dope record, but the flip is somebody gave Just Blaze this record for PSA, for Jay-Z's PSA. Just did not give that person co-production credit. So again, it's just, it gets money everywhere. But so JP, you're okay. Do you believe Daz produced the crime or Doggy Style?
No, I've never subscribed to that. I've never subscribed to that.
Okay.
I know he was instrumental, but I wouldn't be like, oh, he did all the beats, like did 90% and Dre did. Nah, I don't believe that at all.
Right. Eddie?
I think, you know, like you said, maybe he brought the records, or maybe, you know, he didn't bring the record. He just told Gray, or told Dre, oh, why don't you loop this, or why don't you do this, you know, like suggestions. But I don't think he produced it. I don't think he has the ear of Dre. I don't think he has the technical knowledge and, you know, all that stuff with the tools to produce those kind of beats the way Dre did. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I mean, I've related to almost like it being a chef. Like, if I go out and buy all the groceries and then Porsche cooks the dinner, I don't think anybody's thanking me at the end of the night. I don't think anybody's like, oh, goddamn, thanks, man. That was great, Kill, that you went to the store for us. No, all the love is going to go to Porsche. It's going to be like, you cooked the meal. You were the one who knew what to do with the ingredients. Even though I brought them to her, I brought her the groceries. You know, she was the one who had to know it's this much and it's that much, and we're going to saute it this long, and we're going to keep it in that much, and all of those things. So I just really think that, you know, again, just for everybody who's on the timeline today, this is why it doesn't add up. If the NWA, DOC, and Eazy-E albums were just good, and then all of a sudden it was like Doggy Style and Chronic are like out the fucking window, cool. Then I may believe, okay, Daz or somebody had something in line with it. But to me, when I heard deep cover after Niggas for Life, I was like, yep, right back at it. Like, here let's go. When I heard nothing but a G thing, I was like, yep, let me ride, stranded on death row, little ghetto boy, just keep the bitches ain't shit, just kept it going, and it just went right into doggy style. And it was like, this is all even playing ground here. So again, just wanted to check that out. Eddie, let them know where they can get at you, where they can get freestyle. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. The Bookworm and Me, brand new book from Questlove, Music is History. It's a book breaking down. I think it's a song for every year from 1971 up into 2002 to the present. So he's breaking down a song every year. This is for all the people who say I don't love Thought. Again, I support everything that the Roots put out. Okay, I own Questlove's cookbook, and I don't fucking cook. Okay,
that just came out, Kill.
Yeah, it just came out Tuesday.
Okay,
all right,
I'm
gonna get it quick. You must
the way they got
it.
Pre-order on Amazon, and Amazon promises you to have it the day it comes out.
Because I literally just found out about that book, and you already got it. That's crazy, yo.
And just for all my commentators out there, I got this Wolverine book breaking down the history of Wolverine. It's like my favorite superhero. So yeah, definitely still into that mode. But Eddie, where can they get at you, good brother? Tell them everything about freestyles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, I'm on Twitter at EddieD80, Instagram at Freestyles. That's with a D, Freestyles. And freestyles.com. I've been doing reviews every week. You know, I took off this week. You know, I got a lot going on, started a new job and all that. But best believe, you know, next week I'm back at it. But I got a lot of content on there right now. I've been cranking it out. So go on the website, check out the reviews if you're an independent artist, or you know you're a producer producing for an independent artist, whatever. Like if you think you got dope music that you want me to review or check out, hit me up. You know, I got all the submissions on links on the website, or you know you go on my socials and DM me. You know, send me a link and I'll check it out. Can't promise anyone that I'm gonna give you a great review. You know what I mean? Because all I could do is be honest. But I'm definitely gonna be thorough, and I'm definitely you know gonna I'm gonna be thorough. That's it.
And you know what I want to say, Eddie? I respect what you just said, that you can't promise a dope review, because the game now is you want Twitter followers, start an indie site that's going to review music, and you love everybody's shit. Because then what happens is everybody will love you, they will follow you, they will defend you to the earth. It's an ingenious way, to be honest with you. I mean, it's some bitch shit because you're lying and you're just like, yeah, I like everything. But it's actually ingenious because you're going to get followers, and you are literally going to have people protect you because they're going to be like, oh no, you're a national hip hop treasure. And it's only because they like everybody's shit. You know what I mean?
And so, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to go out there, you know what I mean? I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm not going to go out there and just straight up say something is whack. I'm going to explain like what I feel like could be improved, you know, but I'm also going to take some good with it. So take that as you will. No doubt. And
I think, and everybody, I say this all the time to a lot of young cats, shit, old cats too. The problem with hip hop is when people stopped checking in about their music and people wanted yes men around. You know what I mean? That to me, like when I hear stories of Primo leaving D&D, getting in his MPV, and then going out to Brooklyn and playing the shit in the hood to see how the hood reacted to it, that's why we got the kind of music we got. You know what I mean? Now niggas leave the studio and go to the strip club to see how the music performs. You know what I mean? So it's just something about having somebody there, because I was saying, what was I saying the other day? About, wow, oh God, what shit did I start? I don't know. I was telling a story about how this dude transferred into my school. He was a rapper, and I was a rapper. So I was a nigga's like, yo, you step to him, kill a nigga, think he a rapper. I'm like, all right, let me step to this nigga. I'm like, yo, you rhyme me? Like, yeah. I'm like, yo, let's battle at lunch. That nigga beat the shit out of me. Like, it ain't even no cut cards. Like, yeah, I lost horribly. But what that loss did was it made me go home, and it made me work on my craft even harder. And it made me, this is what it was about. The whole hip hop won. You know what I mean? I know not you, Porsche,
Yeah.
but for the people, whenever there's a verses or about, they're like, hip hop
Right.
won. And I'm like, nigga, don't ever come to my house talking about Spades won. Nigga, who the fuck won the battle? I'm raised, there's a winner, there's a fucking loser. Why do they have to be losers, Kill? Everybody doesn't have to lose. Like, who the fuck is raising y'all? Like, this is why everybody gets a fucking trophy when you come in 80th place. In my day, you got a trophy if you came in first place. You got a ribbon if you came in second and third. If you came in fourth, you ain't get shit. In fact, the only thing you got was go home and try harder next time, which made you go home and try harder next time. Because everybody's just like, oh, I love your shit, I love your shit, I love your shit. It doesn't make anybody try to get better. So you always just stay right here. You know what I mean? Like I was hearing this a BDP demo like that was out before Criminal Minded, and yo, the shit was not good. Like, it was not good. And it's like, yo, I heard some ultramagnetic stuff before Critical Beatdown. It was not good. You know what I mean? But to then see KRS come back from that with Criminal Minded, and to see Ultra come back from these demos with, you know, Critical Beatdown, two of the greatest albums ever. Like, you have to get better. But the problem is everybody is just staying right here because there's nobody to push you to say, it's okay, but you could do better. You know what I mean? Is it a hard pill to swallow? Yes, I was just on my phone with my guy who's a producer out in Hollywood. I sent him my scripts, and my expectations, he's gonna read them, and he's gonna be like, yo, I wanna fly you out and buy your script. That nigga gave me a whole rundown of what I was doing wrong. And I'm like, good looking for the information. Now I gotta go back to the drawing board. You know, was it a tough pill to swallow? Yeah, it was, but I appreciate the honesty because he's helping me understand what I gotta do to try to get into that world. You know what I mean? So just everybody take criticism. If everything isn't bad, and if somebody says they don't like your shit, don't mean you whack. But I mean, yo, JP, Roots used to kill my drums. Roots used to be like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Stop bugging me. Like, yo, seriously. And that made me keep going back. And it was like a big brother hatred. Like, I'm gonna show Roots, and I'm gonna show Roots one day. And it was like, that made me get better. But if Roots would have just been like, oh yeah, your drums sound great, Killer, my drums would have just stayed right there. Would have been anything to push me to get better. So all that to say, take criticism, people, y'all. JP, let them know where they can get at you, get music, get everything, the podcast, everything.
Yeah, you can reach me at JPaz Music, JPAZ Music on Twitter and Instagram. Got a podcast called You Heard What I Said on YouTube with my brothers Dwight and Lateef, just brothers, you know, of a certain age, talking their life experiences and a lot of music stuff. You know, shout out to JR, always supporting me on that. So yeah, JPaz Music, Instagram and Twitter.
What's the Bandcamp?
Oh, the Bandcamp is jpazmusicbandcamp.com.
All right, and that's where everybody should go to purchase.
Oh yeah,
that's one of the things that I'm trying to explain to people, because they're like, oh, we'll do this. I'm like, no, please buy it from the Bandcamp. Like, stream it, do all of that. But Bandcamp, if you really want to support artists, like, that's where you want to go to make sure that people are getting paid for their music. And a lot of people don't know that, so that's the only reason why I want to let people know that, you know, that's really where we're going to get most of the money from.
Yes,
so
exactly. Bandcamp, Bandcamp needs to be picked up for real. They do.
Yeah, so definitely Bandcamp. JR, let them know about everything, good brother.
All right. Well, me and my partner, Elise, we are R&B representatives. We are now into our season 2. We've done with season 1 with everything. So now we got some interviews coming out. We got
Time out for a second. Help me understand this. When does season 1 start? Because I'm like uploading shit, and I'm like up to episode 85, and I'm still on season 1. Like, when am I supposed to stop season 1 of Apartment 5?
To be honest with you, Elise just told me that we're in season 2. That's why. I was ready to keep going with it, but she was like, yo.
Y'all in season 3? Fuck, I'm in season 1 still. Like,
she was like, yo, we need to stop. And I was like, all right, cool. So she was like, yo, we got a roll out for that, but we got like Kevin, God, I forgot his last name. Kevin, well, he was the guy over Melba Moore and what's the name? Shoot, I can't even think right now. It was over Freddie Jackson and all that. He was over that label.
Okay.
So we got with him, we got Grap Lover, we got a joint with him. We got something with Bow-Legged Lou from Full Force. Wow. We got that. Plus we got something in the works going on with him. So we got that going on, and then, you know, we're gonna start the radio show again, start that going on, and all the updates is we're gonna actually put some out probably Friday. Probably, yeah. So this will already be out. By the time this come out, there'll be something new out, so everybody knows. So just follow us, the R&B Representatives, on Instagram, the R&B Reps on Twitter, and I'm back with current R&B bangers on JR's World of Soul, which I just got a latest video I just put out. Anthony Hamilton actually rocked with it. He told me thank you for rocking with his song, because that album is dope. And I said, as soon as I was getting back to doing it, I was talking about that album. That album is the shit, for real. I'm glad you like it too, Kill, because you know you. But I did that for Kay. I did that for Kay, because you know how y'all two go back and forth with Anthony.
I just said he lost some of his soul, is all.
Okay.
I'm talking about on a whole. I'm talking about on a whole. This is the first album I've thoroughly enjoyed from beginning to end since coming from where I'm from. Not saying them other albums didn't have good songs on them, they did. But as a whole, this is to me like a return. And to me, he's almost promoting it like it's a return. I mean, the nigga look like a 70s pimp on the cover. Like, it's damn near saying it's only built for Cuban Links Part 2. It's Do or Die Part 2 Like, you know how
I'm glad he didn't call it Where I'm Coming From either, Part 2.
Right, but I'm just saying, but to me, that's the feel of this album, in my opinion.
I got you.
I haven't felt soulful like this since coming from where I'm from. So
so I'm back with that. So just follow me at JR's World of Soul on Instagram, Twitter, all that is JR World of Soul, and you can get all the information there.
Porsche, where can they get at you?
On Twitter at Cherchez Porsche, and only on apartment 5B. That's it. I am a permanent fixture on apartment 5B, and that is where you can find me. That's the only place that I am a permanent fixture. I just have to put that out there.
All right, you already know what it is with me. Kill 889 IG, Twitter. We'll make beats for food. Got an EP out right now with my man King James. The first 48, you can cop that at kingjamespitz.bandcamp.com. Again, so if you fuck with it, cop it. Again, if you don't like it, I don't ask people to do shit just because it's me. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you like it, buy it. Life is very simple with me. I'm not even like, hey, you don't buy it.
You are very black and white.
I mean, yo, here's the thing, bro. When you get to be 47, life is so simple. I was talking about me. He's like, I want a new house. I was like, get a part-time job. Like, nigga, it's not like if you want something new, get a part-time job. Make more money. Like, it is so simple. So if you like it, buy it. If you don't. Me and my man Echo got a new joint out. It's called Echo Is the Name Season 7, produced by yours truly. And the joint for that is echoisthename.bandcamp.com. So check that out. Again, if you like it, cop it. If you don't. You know what I mean? I understand money is tight. I don't in nobody's pockets. All I ever ask is retweet. You know what I mean? Just keep it going. I realize a lot of people don't understand the power in a retweet. Like, I've had people say, well, I retweeted it, but I only got 30 followers. My nigga, I appreciate that. Maybe one of the 30 followers, you know, I'm challenging people like, hey, if you like it, tell 5 people about it. You know what I mean? Like, so I think we have to, you know, I'm learning that we have to kind of help people understand how to support music now, because it's so different than what it was 10 years ago to what it was 20 years ago to what it was 30 years ago. So, you know, if you fuck with it, you know, definitely we appreciate that. I will check y'all all next week, y'all. I appreciate y'all, man.